for European soccer supremacy has reached the knockout stage, and all the drama of the Euros is on Sirius XM.
Oh my goodness, what a story!
Every match is now win or go home, and they can all be heard on Fox Sports Channel 83.
That is sensational!
Before and after the matches, hear what the experts are saying on Sirius XM FC 157.
They are proven winners right now.
No one is covering Euro 2024 like Sirius XM. Listen in the car or on the all-new Sirius XM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
CJCL Toronto. This
slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone!
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A Saturday matinee with the Roop keeping out the rain today. The Blue Jays trying to move on from a storming 16-5 win by the Yankees yesterday and guarantee a split in this series. Hi, everyone. Hope your weekend is off to a good start. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host and producer, and Tom Young and Mike Jose Collins are our technical directors. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Boucherville and Mercier, Quebec. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Two tricksters duel today in an exciting pitching matchup. The mad scientist Chris Bassitt brings his 8-pitch mix to the mound against one of the most unique hurlers in the game, Nasty Nestor Cortez for the Yankees. We'll have first pitch of this one next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app, sportsnet.ca, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're twomeninatruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2 men in a truck, 2 men in a truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day, Think 2 men in a truck, 2 men in a truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop on the bandwagon fan. We're the in it for the long haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
Baseball fans, no matter who your team is, the Believe Podcast Network has you covered. Every team, every topic, everywhere. The most passionate fans and the most knowledgeable former players bring you the in-depth analysis you crave with podcasts dedicated to your team and your team only. Search Believe right now on the SiriusXM app and download your team's podcast today. That's BLEAV. Every team, everywhere.
Jays fans, this is George Springer, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
George Springer, airborne, snatches it out of the sky.
Work.
Hey Insiders, thanks for joining us for another Toronto Blue Jays game. Please make sure you've hit that like button down below. Click out of the chat for a second, hit that like button, and help this stream grow and get more Blue Jays fans here to hang out with us live during the game. This community is absolutely insane. It has grown like crazy, and I know that it will only continue to grow because of what you guys do as well as what I'm doing. So thank you so much. Please share this out to your friends. Please make sure that like is clicked, and let's get back to the baseball. Let's go Blue Jays. Finish strong.
Jose Quas into the bullpen in his place. Welcome back to Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, and I'll mention a little bit more of it as it goes on, Chris, but a tough move for the Blue Jays to make with their longest tenured player, but a guy who was really going through it, and Mesa let go.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being in that office with John Schneider and Tim Mesa and of course Pete Walker and how that conversation went. But to me, it's not so much the numbers. The numbers are what they are. Some guys have bad outings. Some guys are unlucky and give up 5 runs and don't get an out. But to me, it's the stuff. And the stuff just wasn't good enough this season to get big leaguers out. And he was incredible last year. The year before, he was 8-1 with a 3.14 ERA. Last year, he was 3-1 with a 1.52. But this year, the stuff was just so down. Early on in the season, he was 89-90. That's just not going to cut it. So Tim Mesa, unfortunately, had to be let go. But he is he's a great guy, and obviously he's been a great major leaguer for a long time. Hopefully he lands on his feet.
Yeah, we wish the best for Mesa going forward. Blue Jays and Yankees now getting closer to playing Game 2 of this series. Game 3, pardon me. Before we get into this one, let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Top of the AL East, Baltimore and New York. The Orioles 52-30, the Yankees 53-31. Boston is 43-38 in third, 41-41. Rays are in fourth, and the Blue Jays 37-44 in fifth. Blue Jays take the field. Chris, who's in the lineups today, starting with Aaron Boone's Yankees?
Leading off for the New York Yankees and playing shortstop is Anthony Volpe. Ben Rice will bat second and play first base in place of Juan Soto. Aaron Judge will bat third and DH. Alex Verdugo will clean up and play left field. At second base, batting fifth, is Gleyber Torres. Batting sixth is Austin Wells. He'll catch. Batting seventh is DJ LeMahieu. He'll play third base. Oswaldo Cabrera will bat eighth and play right field. And batting ninth is Trent Grisham. He'll be in center field. On the mound for the Yankees is Nestor Cortez. And for the Blue Jays, leading off and playing shortstop is Bo Bichette. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa will bat second and play second base. DHing and hitting third will be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Justin Turner will clean up and play first base. In right field, batting fifth is George Springer. Davis Schneider will bat sixth and play left field. Behind the plate, hitting seventh is Alejandro Kirk. At third base, batting eighth will be Ernie Clement. And batting ninth is Kevin Kiermaier. He'll be in center field. On the mound for the Jays is Chris Bassitt.
It's been a strong year for Bassitt as a Blue Jay once again, about to make his 17th start of the year, a 6-6 record, an earned run average of 3.45, 83 strikeouts to 35 walks in 91 and a third innings. And the last time we saw Bassitt, Chris, he was really good. Went 7 innings, he gave up 2 runs at Fenway Park against the Red Sox.
Yeah, he was incredible. He's been very good for at least 4 starts now, and Chris Bassitt will tell you it's because of the fastball. He's locating the fastball, and then he can mix in everything else. Even that cutter, we've talked about that cutter that he loves to throw at the top of the zone. He's really falling in love with that. I don't want him to fall too far in love with that pitch, but he's really executing most of his pitches now, and it all starts with the fastball.
Throwing pretty much every pitch in the book, but that sinker, like you mentioned, really important. The curveball will be a big one for him today. And he's going to get challenged by a good handful of left-handed hitters, although Juan Soto will not be one of them. Soto scratched from the lineup minutes before the start of the game. We'll get into that a little bit more when we go over the injury report in the 5th. But here's Anthony Volpe leading off this ball game. Bassitt into the wind and the right-on-right pitch. Swing and a foul off into the netting above the first base dugout. 0-1. Time of the first pitch today, 3:08 Eastern. The roof is closed at Rogers Center. Rain today in the downtown Toronto area. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Bassitt with the cutter on the outer portion of the plate, and he's quickly ahead of Volpe, 0-2. Yankees shortstop hitting .267 this year, 14 doubles, 7 triples, 6 homers. And now Alejandro Kirk will ask for time and jog out to the mound. Home plate umpire today is the crew chief DJ Rayburn, Tom Hanahan at first, Jeremy Rehack at second, and Clint Vondrak at third. Kirk just went out there for a brief moment. You'll see him do that at times, especially when the clock is running low to avoid Bassitt picking up pitch clock violations. Righty goes to his right hip now and steps back up to the top of the hill. Bassitt winds. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Elevated cutter up and in. Gets Volpe one out.
And that was actually a backup cutter. Didn't really do much. Almost like a BP fastball. But like we talked about before, those backup sliders, those backup cutters are so hard to hit. You expect it to move more than it does, and you end up swinging and missing.
So Volpe set down, and here comes Ben Rice, the first baseman. Was supposed to hit sixth today, but after the late scratch of Juan Soto, is batting second. Here's the pitch. Swing and a line shot down in left center field. A base hit. Cut off on one bounce by Kiermaier. Well, doing a pretty good job standing in. Rice takes the first pitch he sees and is on base.
Well, we know he's a good hitter. He had a good start to the season in AAA. 15 homers, 36 RBIs, 275 average, so he's no slouch.
An interesting mix of cheers and boos after that hit as Aaron Judge comes up to the plate. Decent presence of Yankees fans here in Toronto. No score, top of the first. Ben Rice on first base. He hasn't stolen a base in his major league career. Bassitt's pitch to Judge. Just below the knees, ball one.
I always find it funny when he gets booed when he comes to the plate, just because he is one of the nicest humans you'll ever meet.
Doesn't tend to matter.
I know.
They haven't met him.
No, that's true.
But no, I get what you're saying. And now Judge will ask for time and step out. Bangs the barrel off of his toes. 6'7" is today's DH for the Yankees. Played center field yesterday. Yeah, generally like pretty quiet, mild-mannered guy. Very different from what you see from him on the field. And now a pitch clock violation is going to be called against Bassitt. So, or pardon me, it's going to go against Judge. That'll make it 1-1.
The scoreboard here says 2-0, so I don't know who's right. The television says 1-1. The scoreboard says 2-0.
It is 2-0. It was against Bassitt.
All right.
And now the 2-0. Swing and a hot shot off of Bassitt. Bounces to the right of the mound. Picked up by Turner, the first baseman. And this is concerning. Bassitt didn't come close to looking for that baseball because he's in some obvious pain as it hit off of, I believe, his throwing arm potentially.
You can already see some red marks, maybe some bruising right in the middle of that forearm.
Jose Ministral, the head athletic trainer, putting his hand on the shoulder of Bassitt. John Schneider, the manager, out on the mound as that one hit Bassitt flush at 102 miles an hour, only about 60 feet away.
There's already a welt. And you're right, normally if a pitcher gets hit, he immediately goes after the baseball, but Chris Bassitt didn't even attempt to go after that baseball, which really wasn't that far away from him.
It's probably a decent indication of the pain he was in that moment. Bassitt is stepping back on the hill. Fans cheer, but he's just throwing some tester warm-up pitches right now. And just trying to get a feel for it. Kind of flexing his fingers out. Got him near the elbow.
Bunch of guys down in that Blue Jays bullpen doing some arm circles, starting to stretch a little bit right now.
Pete Walker up on the top step of the dugout now, starting to move down toward the phone. Bassitt reflexively braced for the impact of the ball that was headed toward his side or his chest, and by tucking his arm in, it got him in the arm, but it looks like he's going to stay in this ball game. Again, you can see a huge weld. It looks like Chris Bassitt got shot by a paintball gun or something. There is a circle coming out of his right arm in between his elbow and his wrist. But for Bassitt, he's going to stay in and try and pitch through the pain. They're giving him an extra second, his home plate umpire, DJ Rayburn. And now Bassitt steps onto the hill. It was a single for Judge, who's on first base. Ben Rice on second, one out. Alex Verdugo takes a first pitch curve called strike one.
Well, now that we know that Chris Bassitt is going to stay in this ball game and it's not a serious injury, I bet Chris Bassitt will tell you the worst part about that play is that ball was going directly at Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at second base, and it would have been an easy double play.
Instead, 2 on, 1 out. Long look at second, and the pitch. Swinging bunt goes foul down the first baseline, 0-2. Yankees haven't scored in the first inning yet this series, but they're about as good as it gets scoring in the first. They entered this series with a major league leading 63 first inning runs this year. First is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. The 0-2 to Verdugo. Foul tipped off the glove of Kirk. Went with the high cutter, just popped out of the catcher's glove.
Really flexing out that forearm, squeezing his hand, making a fist. You can tell it's bothering him, but I think it got him in the meaty part of the forearm, not so much that bone, which is a good thing.
It'll still be interesting to see what happens after he goes and sits down and tries to get back up. Adrenaline probably flowing for Bassitt right now, who steps off the rubber. A handful of guys went up to the top of the Blue Jays bullpen, and they're still up there right now, although no one's throwing. 0-2. Sinker on the inside edge, strike three. Bassitt freezes Verdugo, second strikeout and second out of the top of the first.
That was nasty right there. A ton of movement. There's that front hip sinker that we've seen so often from Chris Bassitt this season. Just catches the inside part of the plate. Verdugo takes that slow walk back to the dugout, but if that's going to be on today, he's going to have a good game.
Bassitt hunched over for a moment, hands on his knees, now shakes out his right arm and steps back onto the rubber. Gleyber Torres is up. There are runners on first and second for the Yankees. No score. Top of the first, the pitch. Swing and a fly ball hooked down the left field line, headed toward the seats, and that will get into the stands pretty deep. 0-1. Big day for Torres yesterday in his reintroduction to the lineup. Hit a 2-run homer, also came up with a single later in the game. Batting .219 now on the year with 8 home runs. Bassitt will step off. Despite this being his 5th batter faced, Bassitt's only thrown 11 pitches. 10 of them have been strikes. 0-1. Buckles Torres, but misses high with the sweeper. 1 ball, 1 strike. Right-hander comes set from the first base side. Runners take off. The next pitch is called a strike. Throw to third. Safe is the call. Pretty close there, but for now it looks like Ben Rice has his first stolen base of his major league career, and Aaron Judge is up to second.
That was a great throw from Alejandro Kirk. Right on the money at third base. I thought he got him. I guess not.
The Blue Jays think he did. DeMarlo Hale, the associate manager, was on the phone talking to John Schneider, and Toronto has asked for a challenge.
I don't know about that. I think he looks safe just seeing that slow motion replay.
I will say we both thought that a runner was safe yesterday, and they overturned it. They do have some angles, and some ways to marry cameras that we just don't have access to. And I would say the one thing about Rice's slide is his left foot is bouncing a little bit, but we'll take a look. Again, what do you think, seeing a couple extra angles?
Well, I've seen 3 different angles now, and I still think that he's safe. His left foot just, maybe I'm wrong.
It's hard to tell.
This will be a tough call.
His heel is on the ground, but his toe is way up in the air. His toes are definitely over the bag, but is his foot touching the bag as Ernie Clement applies the tag on actually his back right foot? That's the question New York's trying to answer.
Yeah, and I think the problem here is the initial call is safe. So is there enough to overturn that call? I think no, after seeing the slow motion replay, but I've been wrong before.
TJ Rayburn, the home plate ump and crew chief, is standing beside Clint Vondrak, about halfway, maybe a third of the way up the third baseline. Chris Bassitt's going to continue to throw some pitches here to keep his arm loose.
It looks like the spike got to the bag before Ernie Clement laid the tag down. But that's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. A lot of the fans here seem to disagree with me.
Well, I think they're going to most of the time agree with the call. That would best benefit the Blue Jays, understandably. And here's the call.
The field is overturned. The runner is out.
So it's a good challenge by the Blue Jays, and another runner thrown out by Alejandro Kirk. He cuts down Ben Rice to end the inning. No runs for the Yankees on 2 hits, 1 left. No score, middle of the first. Nestor Cortez takes on Bo Bichette next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Strike 3. Kevin Gausman strikes out this side.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Lefty Nestor Cortez on the mound, getting loose for the bottom of the first inning. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth here at Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Cortez is making his 18th start of the season, 4-6 with a 3.40 earned run average. He'll go up against Bo Bichette, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the first. Cuban-born, Florida-raised lefty into the wind. Here's his pitch to Bichette. Called strike 1. 7th major league season for the 29-year-old southpaw. 5'11". His 0-1. Swing and a pop-up. Out of play off to the right. 0-2. Cortez, a guy who a couple years ago really came out of nowhere, frankly. Former 36th round pick. His 0-2. Down and away, ball 1.
Do you know what pick he was?
Overall?
Overall.
I don't. Do you?
1,085th 194.
It's a lot of pitches.
that is very late.
1-2 pitch, high and outside, 2-2. Grew up and went to high school in Hialeah, Florida. The Yankees drafted him in the 36th round, and despite having a commitment to Florida International University, decided to sign with New York. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Gets Bassitt on a cutter off the plate outside. There's one out. Took him a while to turn into the guy that he is today, and took him going through a couple different organizations. Although he was drafted by the Yankees, Orioles picked him up in the Rule 5 draft in 2017, December of 2017. First pitch to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, low ball 1. Ended up debuting with Baltimore, although he only pitched a handful of times before he was designated for assignment and returned to the Yankees. 1-0. Outside 2-0. The Yankees then again let him go as they traded him for a small sum of international bonus pool money to the Mariners. Was released from Seattle, signed back with New York, and came into his own in 2021. Next pitch to IKF, called strike at the knees. Gets back in this count. It's 2 balls, 1 strike.
And despite being a 36th rounder, you got a pretty decent signing bonus, $85,000. I know that doesn't sound like a ton, but for the 36th round, that is a ton.
2-1 pitch hit on the ground. A dive at short by Anthony Volpe. It's past him into left field. A base hit. Hit streak for IKF at 13 games now. That's the 3rd longest of his career. Volpe looks a little bit shaken up in shallow left field. Hunched over and taking a long walk back to his shortstop position. IKF, though, with the single, you'd probably say he's the hottest Blue Jay, if not for the fact that this guy, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., comes up, leading the Blue Jays now in batting average, doubles, homers, RBIs, and walks. A .291 hitter with 12 long balls. Yesterday hit his 5th home run in the last 7 games. Cortez's pitch. A little bit low, ball 1. Vladdy has 12 career at-bats against Nestor Cortez, 2 for 12. Swings at the 1-0, hits it off the end of the bat, foul rolling it to the first base side, 1-1.
Nestor Cortez is a lot like Chris Bassitt, but from the left side. Different pitches, but he throws a lot of different pitches, a lot of different looks, the slower leg lift. He's a tough guy to face for sure.
A peek at first, and the 1-1. Swing and a foul back, 1-2. 6 different pitches for Cortez, although he relies heavily on his four-seamer, which he throws in the low 90s almost 50% of the time. It's going to mix in a cutter a ton as well. We'll use a sweeper and then a changeup with a good handful of sliders and sinkers, too. 1-2. Misses just high and inside on a cutter. One thing he does that maybe differs him from Bassitt a little bit is he's going to mix up his mechanics a little bit. 2-2. Swing and a fly ball deep right center. Going back, Grisham at the wall. That ball's gone. The homers just keep on coming for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. His 13th of the season, a 2-run shot. It's 2-0 Blue Jays. The 5th for Guerrero in his last 6 games. He now sets a Blue Jay record as he's the first Blue Jay to drive in multiple runs in 6 straight games in franchise history. Here's Justin Turner, the left on right pitch. Low ball 1. Breaks a tie with Frank Catalanato and Eric Hinsky as they both did it for 5 straight games in 2005. The 1-0. High, 2-0.
Well, the most impressive thing about that home run was it was a changeup that was almost on the black outside, and again, he uses the big part of the field. He stays back, and he drives it the other way. Almost the exact same thing he did last night.
2-0 pitch is high and outside, 3-0 to Justin Turner. A couple years ago, right center was one of the big power alleys for Guerrero. Didn't see that as much maybe last year and early this year, but it seems to have come back as he hit the home run yesterday and again today to right center. This one a 403-foot blast. Turner just took a strike. Here's the 3-1. It's hit on the ground just short. Volpe charges. It's off his glove. Picks it up bare hand. Throw to first. Bounces, but it's picked over at first base by Rice. Turner is retired. 2 down.
That was actually a nice play from Rice over at first base. A really tough pick. Had to stretch almost in the splits on that short hop, but a nice play from Volpe as well to stay with that ball.
Rice, playing in just his 11th Major League game, had to stretch toward right field. And here's the Blue Jays right fielder now after that out, George Springer. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball, right center. Grisham going back at the track, leaps at the wall. It's off the top of the wall and down in center field. Springer stops at second. He's got a 2-out double. Springer almost got that one. Grisham was slowing down at the wall like it was going out, but leaped, and it hit the wall just above his glove.
Well, I'm not sure what happened out in center field. I thought Trent Grisham had a beat on it. He made an awkward attempt at it, and then it just hit off the wall. I thought Trent Grisham should have caught that baseball.
I don't know. That hit pretty high up on the wall.
Well, you have the benefit of the slow motion replay.
It's fair. I think the height changes, though, on the replay. First pitch to Davis Schneider, 1-0. Regardless, another well-hit ball by George Springer.
Yeah, and again, a lot like Vlad, he took that baseball that was on the outside part of the plate and didn't try to pull it, just went with it and drilled it to center field.
Runner on second, 2 outs, the 1-0 to Davis Schneider. Outside, 2-0. Schneider batting .219 on the year, 15 doubles, 10 homers, 35 RBIs. Trying to add to the Blue Jays' already 2-0 lead in the first. 2-0. Swing and a miss. Middle fastball, healthy hack.
I'm surprised that you haven't mentioned the goatee yet. Or lack thereof.
We'll get to it. Back to the mustache, though, for now. For Schneider, he has changed up the look a little bit with eye black under his rec specs.
All right. Let's see if that works.
2-1. Outside, 3-1. Blue Jays, though, have now scored in 3 straight first innings. That's something that a couple weeks ago would have felt inconceivable. 5 in game 1, 1 yesterday, 2 runs here in the first today. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Another middle fastball that Schneider just misses.
Yeah, 2 very hittable fastballs. 91, 92 with that second one. But it's tough against a guy like Nestor Cortes who mixes speed so often, especially behind in counts.
3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Beats him with a fastball to end the inning, but the Blue Jays take a 2-run lead. 3 hits in the inning, including a 2-run homer by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 2-0 Toronto after 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Up front tonight, the breaking news.
Stay informed and engaged with the stories that shape our world with the Sirius XM News channels.
Border Patrol and ICE have had to limit the...
From cable news to business.
And so the markets need to be prepared for that and the volatility and for that.
And international.
The strength of values. It's the strength of real freedom.
The Sirius XM News channels, starting at channel 112 and on the Sirius.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! The one that's listening to the Blue Jays baseball game with us. Please check and see if you've subscribed. If you haven't yet, please, help us. Let's make this sub counter go crazy. Make this sub counter go up, and let's bring more people into this awesome Toronto sports community. Thanks for being here during this Blue Jays game. If you're a Blue Jays fan, we're going to pick it. We're going to pick it up. We're going to turn it around this season. Let's go, Blue Jays, and everybody else that's here, welcome. Good luck to your team, but... God, our Jays need some wins. Back to the baseball. Cheers, everybody.
3-run home run from in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts. Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
What's next?
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a 2-run homer, and the Blue Jays are up 2-0 as Chris Bassitt takes the mound again in the top of the second. Sleeves on now, compression sleeves for Bassitt after being hit by a liner in the right arm in the first. He's on the hill facing Gleyber Torres. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks so much for joining us today. The wind and the pitch. Torres lashes it foul to the right. 0-1. The second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The 0-1. Torres takes down and away.
I'm sure Chris Bassitt has those compression sleeves on so the broadcasters can't talk about all the bruising that's going on his arm. If I know Chris Bassitt, that's why he has those compression sleeves on.
Well, were you ever hit in the arm by a liner before?
I was never hit by a liner ever.
It's pretty good.
I got lucky.
1-1. Swing and shallow fly ball to right. Springer with a loud call, waving off Kiner Falefa, makes the catch. 1 out. Perhaps, I don't know, I'm not even close to a doctor, but perhaps that helps with the swelling. I mean, I don't know what the one on the left arm is for, but on the right arm.
Aesthetics.
I got no problem with aesthetics. Black or dark blue, I can't tell with all the pitch blue going around with the night mode jerseys now. I can't tell, but dark sleeves on Bassitt for sure. Right on left is pitch to Austin Wells. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Wells, the catcher, was going to hit 8th today, but with the Juan Soto scratch up in the number 6 spot. 205 batter, 2 homers. 0-1. Fouled off to the right. A fly ball, to the left, a fly ball into the seats down the third baseline. 0-2.
After Chris Bassitt threw that pitch, he looked in at Alejandro Kirk and slapped his chest like, my bad. He left that slider right over the middle. A very hittable pitch, but Austin Wells fouled it back.
A pitch he hasn't thrown a ton recently. 0-2. Swing and a fly ball right field. Charging in. Springer makes the catch. That was a curveball hit pretty well out to right. Left that one over the plate, but Springer chases it down. 2 outs.
Yeah, it seemed like Austin Wells was waiting back. Not quite enough, though. Just a little bit out in front. Hit a pretty good line drive to George Springer, but George Springer so good, just tracks it down.
Chris Bassitt with an average of about 73.5 miles per hour on his breaking balls, his curve, his sweeper, and his slider, throws the slowest average breaking ball in Major League Baseball. 2 down. Here's DJ LeMahieu. First pitch outside, 1-0. LeMahieu came up with his first extra base hit of the season yesterday. Now in his 25th game. He hit a double yesterday. He's batting 182 on the year. Bassitt's 1-0. Downstairs, 2 balls, no strikes. Infield plays LeMahieu as straight up as you're going to see. And the outfield shifted a little bit the opposite way against the right-handed hitter. 2-0. Outside, 3-0. Righty nods as he comes set. Into the wind, his 3-0 to LeMahieu. Taken all the way, it's outside, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to the Yankees' third baseman.
And this is where Toronto's starting pitching has been getting themselves into trouble. They get 2 quick outs. We saw it with Jose Barrios, and we saw it with Yusei Kikuchi. 2 quick outs, and then you fall behind that third guy, 2-0, 3-0. You either end up giving up a base hit or you walk a guy, and then things can start to snowball.
Bassitt trying to hold it here. It's 2-0 Blue Jays. Top of the second. Now LeMahieu on first. The pitch to Oswaldo Cabrera. Called strike 1. Bassitt gets a bit of a break there. That pitch looked like it was off the plate outside. Cabrera, the switch hitter, was the guy brought off the bench and into the lineup today when Juan Soto was scratched late. He'll play right field. 0-1. Low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Do you think Chris Bassitt was excited when he found out Juan Soto was scratched from the lineup, or does he like that type of interaction with one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball?
He seems, we didn't get a chance to ask him, he seems like the kind of guy who would tell you he doesn't care. He's just going to go out there and pitch.
So he's a lot like you.
Well, I've never pitched against Juan Soto, but I'd be happy if he was out of there. 1-1 is bounced back to the mound, speared by Bassitt. He'll flip it to first. That's the inning. Strands a 2-out walk on first base and keeps it 2-0 Blue Jays with a scoreless top of the second. Bottom 2 is next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
When Blue Jays starter Kevin Gossman is on the mound, you hear a lot of pops at Rogers Center. The pop of the ball hitting the catcher's mitt. The pop of the crowd as they cheer on another Gossman strikeout. But most importantly for Goss, the pop of his bubble gum.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the splitter again. One of the best at his craft.
Gossman loves his gum. So be one of the first 15,000 fans on Wednesday, July 3rd and get your Kevin Gossman bubblegum bobblehead. Get your tickets at BlueJays.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He's at the track, at the wall. He leaps, and he made the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Fans have won more than $50 million through Jays Care 50/50 jackpots, and now's your chance to be one of the next 10 life-changing winners. The grand prize is now over $1.1 million, and for the first time ever, there will be 10 lucky ticket holders, and it's all tax-free. Visit BlueJays.com/50/50 to get your tickets from Ontario or Nova Scotia. Alejandro Kirk takes a couple of balls to start the bottom of the second. 2-0, the Blue Jays lead the Yankees at Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Nestor Cortez, the Yankees starter, winds and deals. Next pitch on the inside edge, called strike 1.
Ben, do you have any idea when the home run derby contestants are announced?
I don't, but I know Vladdy has taken himself out of the running.
Out, wow.
2-1 pitch is called strike 2 and 2. You can check out more details about that on sportsnet.ca. But Shai Davidi of Sportsnet had made public that Vladdy has decided that he just wants to keep himself in the best shape in terms of playing possible and give someone else an opportunity, he said, to lift the trophy. 2-2, high, ball 3. It's full count.
Well, it is incredibly taxing, especially when you make it to the finals like he has. How many swings? Does anybody know how many swings Vlad took last time?
I don't have that number on me. 3-2 pitch is hit in the air by Kirk, foul down the right field line into the seats. Still 3-2. I want to say, though, he hit somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 70 homers over the course of the 3 rounds, and so
it's probably 100 hard swings.
Yeah. 3-2. Swing and a fly ball foul left side. Third baseman LeMahieu looking at it, but it's into the seats again. So Kirk's fought off a couple pitches here and seen 7 to start this bottom of the second.
Well, anyways, I love the way he looks right now, so just keep that going.
Yeah, he's kind of home run derbying every day. He's already got a home run in this game. His 13th of the year. A nod from Cortez, the wind, the 3-2. Bouncing ball hit into the 5-6 hole, speared by the third baseman LeMahieu, turns his feet, throws to first, and Kirk is retired.
Batting next, 28, Ernie Clement.
Let's welcome welcome our future announcer, presented by Rogers, 10-year-old Olivia from London, Ontario. She announces up Ernie Clement, the Blue Jays' third baseman. Left on right pitch. Clement takes strike one. Infielder is batting .268 this year, 3 homers, 0-1. Popped up just back of first. That'll be the right fielder Cabrera's ball, who moves toward the line, makes the catch, 2 down.
Batting next, number 39, Kevin Kierminer.
Again, let's welcome our future announcer, presented by Rogers, 10-year-old Olivia from London, Ontario. Here's Kevin Kierminer. Left on left pitch. Down and away, ball 1. Kiermaier gets his first start of the series, a .201 hitter this year, 2 homers, 1-0. Outside, 2-0. Feels like a while because of the 2 games and the suspended game to end the Red Sox series, but Kiermaier red hot last he started. 2-0 pitch, hit foul off to the left, 2-1. Came up with that RBI single in Game 1 of the Red Sox series, and then 3 hits in Game 2 of the Red Sox series, as the Blue Jays then broke their 7-game losing streak. 2-1 pitch. At the knees, called strike, evens up the count, 2-2.
Well, he hasn't been great against lefties this season. He's only hitting .179 against left-handed pitching. Well, I guess only .207 against righties, so...
Swing and a miss there. Frustration from Kiermaier as he goes down on the breaking ball to end the inning. A 1-2-3 for Cortez. 2-0 Blue Jays after 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He delivers a 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Boucherville and Mercier, Quebec. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com. Canada's #1 rust protection. Chris Bassitt's first pitch of the inning hits the bottom of the zone against Trent Grisham. 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Montreal-born former Major Leaguer Chris LaRue.
I love that you added that in. You always say Mississauga.
Well, you grew up in Mississauga but born in
Sure.
Montreal. 0-1 pitch, lifted to shallow center. Kiermaier jogging forward, and he'll make a two-handed catch, 1 out.
You know who's happy that you added that Montreal in?
Your dad?
Well, I was going to say my extended family.
Okay, fair.
That still lives in Montreal.
Fair.
I don't know if my dad's happy.
You and Montreal-born Vladimir Guerrero Jr. One of the many things you have in common. Here's Anthony Volpe to the plate. 1 out. 2-0 Blue Jays. Top of the third. Bassitt's windup and pitch. Called strike 1. Volpe had a pair of hits yesterday a bunt single that helped set up the Yankees' first big inning, and then a single to center field in their second big inning. They scored 6 in the 6th and 7 in the 9th. 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
That sinker's been nasty today. That first one was good, down in the zone, right in the middle, and then that second one in off the plate as Chris Bassitt is kind of hunched over. Not to worry, though. He does that quite often.
He has pitched through some ailments at different times this year. He was hitting a liner in the first inning by Aaron Judge, but remained in the game. 0-2. Called strike 3. Sinker on the outside edge. And that's Bassitt's 3rd strikeout of the day.
Well, Volpe didn't like that call, but that was about as good as it gets right there. Right on the outside black. Started off the plate and ran right back over that strike zone. DJ Rayburn with the good call. Volpe had a couple of words for him as he walked away.
I mean, a sliver of that baseball hits the strike box. It's harder to place it better than that. 2 down, here's Ben Rice, who had a hit for the Yankees in the first but was caught stealing to end the inning. First pitch, called strike 1. Again, a perfect pitch right on the outside corner, bottom of the zone. Rice hitting .259 now in his brief major league career. Takes the next pitch, down and away. For Bassitt, though, the ailments. Today, obviously now with a clearly bruised right forearm. He had a stiff neck at one point in Chicago and was pitching awkwardly facing the plate at all times. 1-1 pitch is yanked down the right field line and bouncing into the wall. Rice around first. Springer fields. Throw coming into second. Rice with a head first dive. He's got a 2-out double.
I think the Yankees might have something with Ben Rice. He is a good player. You look back at his minor league numbers, they're pretty good. And if you just watch him play, he's got a good eye at the plate, a lot like Spencer Horwitz does. He looks like he's a guy who's been around for a long time.
And that's his first major league extra base hit. Aaron Judge about to come up. They intentionally walk Judge. And I think there's a mix of boos when Judge was announced and boos by Yankee fans who wanted to see Aaron Judge hit.
Well, with an open base, I think this is a no-brainer. That's a good call by John Schneider.
Alejandro Kirk is going to step in front of the plate and just make sure the defense knows what's going on in case of a double steal. They did double steal earlier in this game with Judge on first and Rice on second, and they ended up catching Ben Rice at third. Alejandro Kirk threw him out. Here's Alex Verdugo now. First and second, 2 down. 2-0 Blue Jays, the pitch. Fouled off the foot of Verdugo, rolling back into fair territory, but it's a foul ball, 0-1.
And I don't know if they'll try that again, but Aaron Judge does have 5 stolen bases this season.
He's got some speed, especially for his size at 6'7". But you're right, it makes a lot of sense to go around Judge. As much as the entire Yankees lineup ended up factoring in, it was Soto and Judge that got things going for the Yankees yesterday and are by far their biggest contributors. 0-1. Fouled back by Verdugo, 0-2.
If I was Aaron Boone, I also don't think that I would be overly excited if Aaron Judge was stealing bases, just because I want to keep him on the field. I don't want him to do anything outside of hit home runs, hit doubles, run slowly around the bases.
Jog more often.
Right.
Yeah. He's done it 30 times this year. Dealt with toe injuries last year that cost him a lot of the season. The 0-2. Swing and a pop-up left side of the infield. Clement's going to call off Bassitt. The third baseman in shallow left makes the catch and ends the inning. A 2-out double and an intentional walk. 2 left on base. No runs for the Yankees in the top of the third. 2-0 Blue Jays. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
FSGA Draft Week on Fantasy Sports Radio.
Touchdown! Travis Kelce!
The brightest minds in the fantasy industry are drafting against each other in specialized fantasy football drafts. The Champions League Fantasy Football Draft. The Futures and Prop Bets Draft. The Fantasy Football National League Draft. The one-of-its-kind in-game betting draft. The Best Ball Fantasy Football Draft. Hear winning strategies and unique drafts you won't hear anywhere else. Just search Fantasy Drafts on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@BustedOpenPodcast. Subscribe right now.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the order for the Blue Jays, bottom of the third inning at Rogers Center. Thanks so much for tuning in with us today. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bo Bichette leading off. The pitch from Nestor Cortez is called strike one. Bassitt with great numbers off Cortez in his career, even with the strikeout in the first. 8 for 14, a double and 2 homers. The 0-1. Foul tipped the fastball back, 0-2. Asked Bo earlier today about what he is looking for when he goes up against Nestor, and he said it's that four-seamer you have to watch out for. That's his best pitch. He was very unconcerned with all of the trickery. 0-2 is in the dirt, 1-2. Said 98% of the time he's just going to deliver you from his regular mechanics, so there's no bother in really worrying about all the tricky stuff he does in between. Left on right, the pitch to Bichette. Outside, 2-2.
And Nestor Cortez's bread and butter is just locating the baseball, regardless of the pitch that he throws. He only has 18 walks in just over 100 innings pitched. That is a low walk rate.
The wind in the 2-2. Upstairs, ball 3. Part of the reason Cortez can do that is he throws a ton of fastballs between his four-seamer, cutter, and sinker. 3-2. Swing and a liner. Right center field. Grisham on the run. Dives and makes the catch. That's a heck of a play from Trent Grisham out in right center. There's one down.
Well, that's got to be frustrating for Bo Bichette. Makes decent contact. Probably thought that he had a double right there, but Trent Grisham with the beautiful dive. Nestor Cortez raising his hand, pointing at Trent Grisham out there in center field. Appreciates that play.
Deep breath from Cortez now before his first pitch to IKF, who shows bunt, pulls it back, pitches low, 1-0. Kiner Falefa with a single and a run scored in the first, now batting .289. Next pitch, fouled back off the catcher. Austin Wells appears to be okay, pops up and tosses the ball back to the pitcher, Nestor Cortez. Open stance for the right-handed hitter, IKF. Bounces the black bat off his right shoulder. 1-1. Swing and a foul off to the right.
Nestor Cortez loves throwing that elevated cutter as well, right at the top of the strike zone, maybe a tick above that strike zone, a lot like Chris Bassitt.
See if he does it again here. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a hot shot grounder to short. Picked up by Volpe. Whizzes it over to first and beats IKF. 2 down. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Don't strike out on your next home improvement project. Your team at Timber Mart has the great advice and the products you need, so you'll get the job done right. Knock it out of the park and win the day with Timber Mart, Canada's building center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, and down, stepping in the box at the plate, is Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 1 for 1 with a 2-run homer. The pitch. Low ball 1. Chris, you had been saying over the weeks of May, just keep hitting for that average and the homers will come. They've come for Guerrero, who takes the next pitch inside, 2-0.
Well, I felt like I was the only one that was saying that outside of you. I mean, I know we've had discussions about that. A lot of people were saying maybe he should change his swing, maybe he should have more of an uppercut, but
Takes the 2-0, called strike.
If I'm John Schneider, if I'm anybody in that dugout, I will happily take the line drives in the gap. Eventually, like we've seen over the last little while, the home runs will come, the power will come.
The 2-1. Swing and a bouncer to short, backhanded by Volpe. Stands up, throws high to first, but within the range of Ben Rice, who makes the catch over at first and ends the inning. Cortez has retired 7 in a row, but thanks to Guerrero's early homer, it's still 2-0 Blue Jays going to the fourth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2:30 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Ally 400 from Nashville Superspeedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes.
Hi, I'm Ozzie Smith, and my road to Cooperstown was paved in yellow gold.
This is John Paul Morosi. Coming up on the next episode of the new SiriusXM podcast, The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith.
When you're a small guy, you got to prove your worth over and over again because you're always hearing that negative, even after you accomplish.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the all-new SiriusXM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM.
Let's go!
We're back on the track Sunday,
2:30 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Ally 400 from Nashville Superspeedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes.
Your home for free agency is NBA Radio. We're breaking down all the transactions all week long on Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Welcome to the fourth inning, presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Chris Bassitt's first pitch of the inning misses high to Gleyber Torres, 1-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Former Cubs international signing, Torres, is now in his contract season. Has played his whole major league career with the Yankees, 1-0. Just outside. Torres signed with the Cubs out of Caracas, Venezuela in 2013. Was considered the top Venezuelan prospect that year by MLB.com. He takes the next pitch at the top of the zone. Called strike, it's 2-1. Ended up being traded with future Blue Jay Billy McKinney for Aroldis Chapman that year at the deadline. 2-1. Fouled back, 2-2. That trade happened in 2016. Chapman went to the Cubs, won the World Series, and then the Yankees signed him back.
Just like you draw it up.
Yeah, not bad from Brian Cashman. It's pretty good.
I almost feel like Aroldis Chapman did draw that up.
He might have. 2-2. Called strike 3. Sinker on the outside edge. And Torres goes down looking. That's the fourth strikeout today for Chris Bassitt.
Well, that sinker is pretty nasty today. Again, it started off the plate and just catches the edge, almost the black on the outside part of the plate. Gleyber Torres stares at the plate for a second and then walks back to the dugout.
One out now, and the pitch to Austin Wells. Just outside, 1-0. Wells lined out sharply to right field. Back in the second inning, he's 0 for 1. Bassitt winds. Here's the pitch. Swinging a hot shot, hooking toward the right field line, and foul. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every plate at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. First, the 1-1 from Bassitt. Fouled back 1-2. A couple other games in action right now. A bunch of teams about to start playing. You're looking at American League East teams. Washington is about to bat against Aaron Savali and the Tampa Bay Rays in St. Petersburg. And San Diego and Boston about to start at Fenway Park. 1-2. Outside, Wells takes 2 balls, 2 strikes. A couple other games with scores right now. The Chicago White Sox up 5-3 on the Colorado Rockies. They've scored 5 unanswered, have the Southsiders. That game in the bottom of the 7th on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Bassitt's 2-2 to Wells. Fouled back into the netting, still 2-2. And then the Cincinnati Reds up 8-1 on St. Louis in the 5th.
I would have thought that you would have given an update on Port Hope, Ontario's Cal Quantrill.
Well, it's not his best day, so
Sorry to catch you off guard there. I know you love talking about Canadians.
I do. Quantrill, I think, will be a very interesting trade piece coming up at the deadline. 2-2. Smoked on the ground. Dive by Guerrero at first. It's past him down the right field line. Around first base goes Wells. He's chugging for second. Slows up with a stand-up double. Wells had hooked a couple pitches with authority, both in this and his last at-bat. And pardon me, not Guerrero, but rather Turner with the dive toward the line, but it was out of his reach for the double. 9th double of the season for the catcher, Austin Wells. And now a chance to score here for the Yankees. They have a runner in scoring position for the 3rd inning out of 4 so far. Here's DJ LeMahieu. The pitch. Inside, ball 1. Here's some of the boos. Not really for LeMahieu, but rather the fans drowning out some of the Yankee fans who were trying to get loud here in the top of the 4th.
There is a lot of Yankee fans here. They travel well, especially from Buffalo if you're a Yankee fan.
1-0 pitch is hit into the plate. It's a fair ball rolling softly to third. Clement charges, gloves, throws to first in time. Not exactly routine for Clement. Breaking for third on the play was Wells, but a nice play over at third base by Ernie Clement makes it 2 down.
Yeah, he's pretty smooth over there. I thought that there was a chance he would stop and try to tag Austin Wells, but just made the nice easy throw across the diamond to Justin Turner for out number 2.
In limited action, Ernie Clement with 5 defensive runs saved this year. More than half of those coming from third base. So a runner on third, 2 down. Here's Oswaldo Cabrera, who hit a comebacker to end the 2nd. Bats here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. The pitch. Hit foul off to the left. A grunt from Bassitt on the pitch. It's 0-1.
Back to Cal Quantrill, though. He's having a great season. 6-5 with a 3.78 ERA in Colorado.
And that ERA inflated today as he gave up 5 runs and 5 1/3. So it was even better before today. And like you mentioned, in the toughest place to pitch in all of Major League Baseball. The 0-1 called strike. When I got the chance to work with the people on Sportsnet TV in Cleveland, and I was sitting there as Cleveland, this great team who's lacking starting pitching right now, was going along, and I was thinking, well, what an interesting reunion that might be if they wanted to bring Cal Quantrill back to Cleveland, where he's already worked with Guardians pitching coach Carl Willis. 2-0 Blue Jays, top of the 4th. Austin Wells on third. 2 strikes on the batter, Oswaldo Cabrera. Bassitt staring at Wells, steps off.
Well, I'm sure Paul Quantrill would love that just because it's an easier drive. You can drive there in, 4 hours?
Oh, yeah. Paul does some work for the Blue Jays. Got to see him at spring training. Oh, 2. High. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Infield back and shifting to the pole. Bassitt, the shortstop, up the middle. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. High sinker by Bassitt gets Cabrera. Strikeouts to bookend the scoreless 4th. It's 2-0 Blue Jays, middle of the 4th inning. We'll be back in a sec. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Our core values: equality, respect, the pursuit of greatness. Through and through, this is who we are.
Be at the ballpark to experience a proud tradition. Canada Day, Monday, July 1st. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays Canadian tuxedo hat giveaway. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Proud to the core. Canadian to the core. Blue Jays to the core.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He dives, and he made the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host. Nick Blackmore is our producer today. Mike Jose Collins and Tom Young, our technical directors. 2-0 Blue Jays, middle of the Toronto order. Justin Turner leads off against lefty Nestor Cortez. 5'11" southpaw. Steps to his right, kicks and fires. Turner takes low, ball one. Yesterday was another day where Justin Turner was on base again and again and again. 2 hits, 2 walks, and a fielder's choice ground out yesterday. He takes strike one there to even up the count. Today he's 0 for 1 with a ground out to third. Cortez is 1-1. Outside with a fastball, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, that average really isn't probably where he would want it, but he did have that cold stretch for 3 weeks or so. But he is seeing the ball extremely well right now.
2-1 pitch fouled back, 2-2. Batting average after the out in the first, 249. On base percentage over 100 points higher than that. And coming into today, his 474 on base percentage in June was 3rd in Major League Baseball. Swings at the 2-2 and hammers it to left center field. Verdugo going back. It's over his head and bouncing into the wall. Turner around first, jogs into second. He's got a leadoff double.
And that was that 4-seam fastball from Nestor Cortez at the top of the strike zone, but Justin Turner goes up and gets it. He drilled that thing in the gap in left center. That's a nice swing right there. And like I said earlier, he is seeing the ball extremely well right now.
Another guy who is really on fire is George Springer. 8 for his last 11, doubled in the first. First pitch is called, strike one. He's also got 3 home runs in that stretch. Runner on second, no outs. 2-0 Blue Jays, bottom 4. The pitch. High and outside, 1-1. Springer's driven in 25 this year. A lot of those coming in the last 3-4 games. 1-1 pitch outside, 2-1. He's a guy who's had decent success against Cortez. 3 for 11, 2 doubles, and a homer off the lefty. Here's the pitch. Inside, 3 balls, 1 strike is the count. Three-one offering. Outside, ball 4, a walk for Springer. 2 on for the Blue Jays. Runners on first and second. Nobody out.
Well, George Springer is just so confident right now. Early on in the season, you really wouldn't have seen takes like that. He would have been antsy. He would have been out in front a little bit. He might have taken the walk, but the takes would have just looked different. He is very confident right now, seeing the ball very well, a lot like Justin Turner.
Matt Blake is out to the mound for a visit before Davis Schneider comes up to hit. So we'll take another peek at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. That Washington-Tampa Bay game got underway, and 4 pitches into Aaron Savali's start. C.J. Abrams hits a leadoff homer, the shortstop's 13th home run of the season. It's 1-0 Washington in Tampa Bay. Other news, Copa America action coming up later today. Canada more than likely just needing a draw against Chile to move on to the knockout stage. There are a lot of permutations with their group leaders Argentina playing against Peru as well. Both of those games will go at 8 p.m. Eastern. Argentina against Peru and Canada against Chile. Mound visit over. The infield has dispersed back to their positions, and here's Davis Schneider. First and second for the Blue Jays. No outs. 2-0 Toronto. Bottom 4. The pitch. Called strike 1. John Schneider said before today's game, Davis Schneider has been a little bit antsy recently as the numbers have dipped slightly. 0-1 pitch. Called strike. That's a perfect fastball on the outside corner. 0-2.
Yeah, even if Davis Schneider offers at that pitch, not really much you can do. That's a pitcher's pitch right there on the outside corner.
Turner leading off second. Springer leading off first. 0-2. Swing and a fly ball hit foul down the right field line into the seats.
You really have to cut down on your swing here behind 0-2. Nobody out. Your job now is to just make contact and move those runners up.
Alejandro Kirk waiting on deck. A look at second, the 0-2 pitch. Way high and outside. Wells had to stand up to keep that one from the backstop. Blue Jays trying to widen the gap. The 1-2. High 2-2. They took an early lead yesterday, and they ended up giving up 16 runs, so who knows if it would have mattered, but they had some opportunities to get way ahead of the Yankees, and New York stayed in the game, eventually jumping in front and dominating in the latter stages. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him to chase the high fastball. Schneider strikes out for the first out of the inning.
And that fastball just tied him up right at the hands of Davis Schneider. Even if you swing at that pitch, it's really hard to make contact. Not quite a strike, but a pitch that looks hittable, and then you end up just swinging right underneath it.
So here's Alejandro Kirk. Runners on first and second, 1 out, 2-0 Blue Jays. Play is briefly stopped by home plate ump DJ Rayburn, who now sets back up. Cortez working from the stretch, wipes away from his nose with his glove, and now he's set at the chest. The first pitch. Kirk hits it foul down the right field line, 0-1. Kirk has seen Cortez a fair bit, but looking for his first hit off the lefty. 0 for 11 against him in his career. A look at Turner at second, the 0-1. Swinging a liner, headed down the right field line. Fair ball bouncing into the corner. Turner jogs around third, he'll score. Springer gets a stop sign as they get it back in quickly. It's an RBI double for Alejandro Kirk. It's 3-0 Blue Jays.
Well, George Springer coming around third base, the only thing he could do to stop himself was actually do a feet-first slide. I've rarely seen that. George Springer expecting to score all the way from first base, but with 1 out, that's a good stop right there, keeping him at third base.
Huge hit for Alejandro Kirk, and Ureta keeps a big opportunity by not taking that risk for the Blue Jays. Now second and third, still only 1 out. Infield in the pitch to Ernie Clement. Swing and a liner. Diving stop at second by Torres. Throws to third. Inning-ending double play. A great play by the Yankees second baseman. The Blue Jays do get one on 2 hits and extend their lead to 3-0. We head to the 5th at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Party people! Feel the energy of 8 decades of hits.
You're unbelievable.
That made summer even hotter.
It's getting hot in here. So hot.
The Billboard Top 500 Summer Hits Countdown. Now, for a limited time on Channel 105 on most radios. And all summer long on the SiriusXM app. Just search Summer Sounds.
Nobody covers the National Football League like SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Mahomes fires it late for the end zone. Caught! Touchdown!
Stay updated with the latest news leading up to training camps.
We don't care about expectations. Talk doesn't win games.
Our panel of experts is getting you ready for the 2024 season.
The more I watch this guy, the more I like him.
There's a story for every team on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
Let me tell you something. I'm a real fan.
And your place for sports talk is Mad Dog Sports Radio, where your voice is heard all day long.
I couldn't wait to get into the truck, turn on 82.
Share the thrill of victory.
The joy, the jubilation. I can't stop smiling.
And the agony of defeat.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888-MAD-DOG-6.
You gotta love sports.
Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
Your home for free agency is NBA Radio. We're breaking down all the transactions all week long on Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
The 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins awarded another 150 grants worth $20,000 each to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz at goodsparkgrants.ca. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. Show Ali's our host today. He and Nick Ashbourne have Blue Jays talk after the game. Nick Blackmore is our producer. Mike Jose Collins and Tom Young, our technical directors. Trent Grisham leading off for the Yankees. Chris Bassitt's pitch. Called strike one. Blue Jays just extended their lead to 3-0 thanks to an RBI double by Alejandro Kirk. Now Chris Bassitt working in his 5th inning. His 0-1. Just a little bit high, maybe a hair outside, 1-1. Bassitt struck by an Aaron Judge liner back in the 1st inning. Has certainly performed like he's at 100%. 1-1 pitch fouled back, 1-2. We've seen some signs of potentially pain from Bassitt, but in terms of the pitches executed, he's looked really good.
Yeah, this is probably one of his sharpest starts of the season, and I'm glad that he's healthy. At least for now, he seems to be healthy, like you said, but his fastball control, his command, the movement has just been incredible.
And Bassitt's already been on a great run. Last 4 starts for Bassitt, an ERA below 2, an ERA at about 2.5 in his last 7. But the weird thing about the last 4, where he's only given up 5 in 26 innings, the Blue Jays lost all 4 of those games. He has not had a decision in any of them. 1-2. Just inside. Pretty good breaking ball and an equally good take by Grisham. 2-2.
In any world, does Chris Bassitt make an all-star team?
I mean, in any world, it's possible. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it, but I feel like the top teams are going to get more guys, and he might be neck and neck with some guys on top teams. 2-2. Check swing. Pitch was called high. Appeal down to 3rd. No swing, says Clint Vondrack. Full count. But you never know. I mean, he's at 3.30 ERA right now. Maybe if he keeps this going and has another really good start, gets, right around 3, perhaps.
He's looked really good.
3-2. Check swing. Called strike 3. Cutter at the top of the zone. Grisham doesn't like it. Hunched over, but he won't say anything. Turns over, walks back to the dugout. That's Bassitt's 6th strikeout already.
Yeah, another one of those backup cutters, but at the top of the strike zone. You can see Aaron Boone screaming from the dugout at DJ Rayburn, but that was a strike. That was very clearly a strike. I don't know what he's yelling at. That wasn't even close.
I mean, arguably the pitch before was a strike as well. That one definitely in the zone. Here's the first pitch to Anthony Volpe. Down and away, ball one. Bassitt will do that, though, to opposing dugouts because he gets so many guys looking, it seems, in an era where it's a lot about swing and miss. 3-0 Blue Jays, top of the fifth. One out and the base is empty. Bassitt rocks and delivers. Swing and a miss. Through the cutter, I believe, down and away, and it's 1-1. Bassitt has struck out Volpe twice today, once swinging, once looking. Here's 1-1. Slow breaking ball in the dirt. You mentioned the All-Star game. Bassitt has been an All-Star once in his career. That was his final year with the Oakland A's, 2021. Two-1. Hit foul off the end of the bat. Over to the right. So 2 balls and 2 strikes the count now. Bassitt against Volpe.
His next start is against the Houston Astros. And I really do think if he goes out and dominates that team, who is pretty hot right now, he'll get a lot more eyeballs on him. A lot more people talking about him.
2-2 pitch, just inside ball 3. And the thing about pitching, at least, is while a lot of the position players are decided by fan vote, which has its pluses and its minuses, the pitching is chosen by people in baseball.
Yeah.
So you end up maybe not having disproportionate numbers of certain teams based on the fact that teams are just going to vote a lot. Bassitt shaking out that right arm that Judge lined the ball off of in the first. Here's his 3-2. Fouled off. Maybe some pain there for Volpe as he bounced that off the ground and back off himself. Still a full count.
There was a ton of horizontal movement on that fastball. Started on the outside part of the plate and ran all the way in off the plate. Anthony Volpe just fouling it off his leg.
Volpe will take a second. Bassitt's going to walk off the back of the hill. Now on the first base side of the mound, strides onto the rubber. 3-2 count, 1 out. Righty set at the belt. Nodding his head slowly. From the stretch, the pitch. Swing and a ground ball hit to third. Long run speared by Clement. Sidearm throw to first is high, and it bounces into the first base dugout. Out of play. Tough play for Clement, but he is going to be charged there with an error. And for Volpe, he went awkwardly over the first base bag. Is down on a knee beyond first right now. Now up on his feet, but hands on his knees, and it looks like he's gripping his right ankle.
And Justin Turner's limping around as well. It almost looked like they ran into each other or somebody stepped on the other person's ankle. Justin Turner's really limping around, touching that ankle, that right ankle out there.
We'll take a second look. Truthfully, I was watching the baseball as it caromed in, and yeah, they went foot to foot as Turner was jumping and twisting. The left foot of Turner banged off, I think, the right foot of Volpe. Or no, it was left on left there, and Volpe went tumbling down.
And it also looked like Justin Turner was trying to tag Volpe, although he didn't have the baseball in his glove. It's probably just a reactionary thing by Justin Turner.
The good news is both are going to remain in the game. I think for Volpe it was less the contact and more how he hit the base, because he hit his left foot off Turner, but it was his right foot that awkwardly went into the front of the bag, and he kind of flopped over to the right.
And did Justin Turner slap him in the face with his glove? That's what
on the tag motion, but yes, I believe he did.
Double whammy for Anthony Volpe.
So Volpe there ends up on second. They credit him not with a hit, but rather a two-base error on Clement. And the first pitch to Ben Rice is low, 1-0. Rice 2 for 2 today with a single and a walk, and he comes up with a runner on second, only 1 out, top of the fifth. Rice with 1 Major League RBI in the previous 10 games. 1-0. Foul back. The Yankees have a runner in scoring position, too, for the 4th inning out of 5 today. They were dominant yesterday, batting 9 for 12 with runners in scoring position, searching for their first hit in these situations in today's ballgame. 1-1. Hit high in the air, but way foul off to the left. Teases the second deck, but bounces actually into the concourse off the steps. Third base side, it's 1-2. Bassitt's thrown a lot of pitches this inning. A 3-2 strikeout of Grisham, a 3-2 ground ball that Volpe reaches on an error. And now a 1-2 count. The pitch hit on the ground at first on one hop, picked up by Turner. He'll go to the base and step on it. Now 2 down. Volpe advances to third.
That was a big out right there for Chris Bassitt, especially with Aaron Judge coming to the plate. You definitely don't want to have him up with 2 guys on.
Home plate umpire DJ Rayburn looked over to the dugout to give the Blue Jays a chance to put 4 fingers up if they wanted. But they're going to pitch to him. Judge today with a single off of Bassitt and an intentional walk. Runner on third, 2 down. 3-0 Blue Jays, top of the 5th. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball off to the right into the seats, 0-1.
I think that's a good choice. You're up by 3. Why not? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you got to pitch to the guy at a certain point. You can't walk someone every single time they come up. Even for someone as dominant as Judge, who's going to have an on-base percentage in the 430s, that still means you get him out more than half of the time. The 0-1. Swing and a bouncing ball up the middle. They won't get him out this time. It rolls into center, a base hit. Rice in to score. Judge around first. It's now 3-1 on Aaron Judge's RBI single.
Well, I think the thing for me when I'm thinking about walking Aaron Judge in that situation is I'm looking at who's up next. It's a left-handed hitter. It's a guy in Alex Verdugo who is no slouch, really. He has a ton of power. He's hitting 247 with 9 homers. Sorry, 246 with 9 homers. I'd rather just go and let Aaron Judge maybe ground one up the middle.
So they cash in the run that scores because of the error initially, and now Alex Verdugo up, first pitch, high and outside, ball 1. 3-1 Blue Jays, top of the 5th. It's now 5-5 between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. 2 down, and the 1-0 pitch to Alex Verdugo. Outside, ball 2. Verdugo is 0 for 2 today. Struck out looking in the first and popped up to third base to end the third. The 2-0. Swing and a miss. Cutter right on the outside black, and Verdugo cut through it.
That's a nice pitch right there, especially behind in the count, 2-0. You have to throw a strike in that situation, and Chris Bassitt threw an absolutely perfect one.
76 pitches on the day for Bassitt, his 77th. Backdoors Verdugo with a big sweeping breaking ball. That was the curve to make it 2-2.
He absolutely locked up Verdugo. Verdugo nodding his head after that pitch crossed home plate. He was not expecting that one. Probably an elevated cutter here. What do you think?
I'll go with you on this one. Judge off first, the 2-2. And a splitter is bounced away foul by Verdugo.
I don't know. It's hard to guess with him. You have a 1 in 8 chance.
It's about the polar opposite of trying to guess on the guy who will start tomorrow for the Blue Jays, Kevin Gausman, who's going to give you 1 at 3 most of the time. I guess 4 now that he's added in the sinker. Bassitt's 2-2 again. Hit foul off to the left. That time he elevated the sinker, and Verdugo hit it into the 500 level. Nice catch by a fan. Playing the dangerous game of leaning forward from the first row of the 500 level. He reels it in. Judge takes a slim lead off first. Turner playing a step off the line. 2-2. Judge takes off, and the ball is hit deep down the left field line. Racing toward the corner, Schneider. That one's into the seats, foul. Judge with the head start on the stolen base attempt was almost at third. He will curl back in front of the mound and head back to first.
He's actually got a ton of speed. Watching him run around the bases is pretty fun. Obviously, his steps are a lot bigger than most.
I mean, long strides, like you said, but still at 6'7", 280, you're not expecting a lot of guys to be fast. Another 2-2 from Bassitt to Verdugo. Swing and a miss, strike three. High cutter from Bassitt. He gets Verdugo for his 7th strikeout of the day. Allows one in the top of the 5th, but it's 3-1 Blue Jays, middle of this 5th inning. Back in a moment, you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
They had to make that deal in order to be a championship contender.
Basketball's business season is officially underway. And NBA Radio has you covered with wall-to-wall free agency action starting Sunday.
Blockbuster deal. It's a 3-team trade.
We're breaking down every rumor and every signing.
That would be a huge pickup.
The NBA free agency free-for-all starts Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern.
It's madness. It's chaos.
Don't miss a moment on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 59.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom 5 at Rogers Center, 3-1 Blue Jays over Yankees. Nestor Cortez's first pitch to Kevin Kiermaier, bunted foul, third base side. 0-1. Thanks so much for joining us today in the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Michael Jose Collins, Tom Young, our technical directors, Nick Blackmore, our producer, and Show Ali, today's host. The wind in the 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. They shift to the pull for the left-handed hitter. Third baseman LeMahieu plays even with the bag. 1-1. Foul tip into the glove, 1-2. Probably any chance for Kiermaier now to try and bunt for a base hit again is gone with there being 2 strikes on the center fielder. Cortez winds the pitch. Foul back into the screen.
I thought he was going to try to take one with him. Ben Rice is playing way back. Gleyber Torres is playing way back. It would have been the perfect time. Obviously not now with 2 strikes, but prior to 2 strikes, it would have been pretty easy.
1-2. Called strike 3. Perfect fastball from Cortez on the inside edge. 1 down.
Yeah, Kevin Kiermaier didn't like that call, but that one was right on the inside corner, just catching the inside part of that strike zone. Like we talked about earlier, Nestor Cortez is so good with that four-seam fastball, can locate it all over the place.
Cortez throws almost 80% fastballs, which is third most in Major League Baseball behind Lance Lynn and Garrett Crochet. First pitch to Bo Bichette, outside, 1-0.
And Garrett Crochet throws 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. And Lynn is kind of like Cortez, where it's multiple types of fastballs. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a foul ball hit off to the right, 1-1. Bo Bichette 0 for 2 today, but probably should have had a hit in the third if not for a diving catch in right center by Trent Grisham. The 1-1. Another ball hit foul to the right, 1-2.
Yeah, at worst, you should have had a single, if not a double. Trent Grisham with an incredible diving catch in the gap in right center.
One-two pitch. Hit well, left field, hooking toward the corner. That ball's down on the track, bouncing into the wall. Bassitt around first. Throw coming into second. Bo gets there for a stand-up double. That's the third double in the last 2 innings and 5th extra base hit today for the Blue Jays.
That actually wasn't a terrible pitch from Nestor Cortez. It was a slider down and in, and Bo just drops the barrel, goes down and gets it. Drills that thing, one hops the wall out in left field. It's a good swing right there from Bo.
That'll prompt Matt Blake to come out to the mound before Isaiah Kiner-Falefa hits. Gives us an opportunity to look at the injury report, brought to you by Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Prera will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. Big news today coming from John Schneider at the outset of his meeting with local media. He told us that Jordan Romano felt discomfort yesterday while throwing. They are shutting him down, and he will go see Dr. Keith Meister on July 2nd. They did reiterate that there's no structural damage in terms of ligaments or anything inside of there, so we'll just have to wait and see what that means. They did not confirm that that would be for surgery like Alek Manoah's visit to Keith Meister earlier this year, but obviously not good news for the Blue Jays and their closer. Mound visit over, 1 out, runner on second, pitch to IKF. Is inside, ball 1. Other updates, George Springer, who was hit in the hand yesterday, they said dodged a bullet. They took him out quickly yesterday to start treatment right away, so he'd be good for today. IKF fouls off the 1-0. It's 1-1. Jimmy Garcia continuing to long toss today. Hope in the next couple days that he gets throwing off a mound, but for now it's still flat ground. And that's about it on the Blue Jay side. Kiner-Falefa at the plate. Bassitt on second. 3-1 Blue Jays, bottom 5. With 1 out, the lefty Cortez deals a 1-1. In the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Dr. Meister is in Dallas, right?
Yeah, he actually works for the Texas Rangers, but also works outside of that. The injury news on the other side concerns Juan Soto, scratched late today. 1-2. Swing and a liner. Right center field and deep. And that one's down just past the reach of the right fielder, Oswaldo Cabrera. Bassitt had to wait, so he will just go to third. But that's a single for IKF. A nice play in center by Grisham. And first and third with 1 out.
Yeah, Grisham was backing up Cabrera out in right center. I actually thought Cabrera was going to catch that ball. He had a good beat on it, but he just missed it. Tipped off the end of his glove. And Grisham doing a really good job backing him up, holding IKF to first base and Bo Bichette at third base.
So Oswaldo Cabrera, though, out there in right because Juan Soto was scratched from the lineup with a right hand bruise that he sustained sliding into home plate yesterday in the 4th. Out of this ball game right now, Nestor Cortez. He is walking back toward the Yankee dugout. Jake Cousins about to enter. Let's go to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. And before we check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, don't forget we do have Jays Talk today. Nick Ashbourne is here with me at the Rogers Center. He and I will take your calls and texts once this game is in the books. 590-590, name and location. As you guys know, the People's Text line, always open. All right, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. We are officially approaching the end of All-Star voting, and in the American League, the finalists have been unveiled. Aaron Judge, he was the leading vote-getter in the American League, so he's officially off to Texas. Everyone else has been entered in a showdown for their respective positions. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Ryan Mountcastle are the 2 finalists for first base in the American League. You can vote for Vladdy once a day, beginning Sunday, June 30th, so tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. The NHL draft is in the books. Macklin Celebrini going number 1 overall to the Sharks, as we all thought last night. Lots of trades today. almost like a deadline day with the sheer amount. An interesting wrinkle right at the end of the draft. The Leafs trading Max Ellis and a 2026 7th-round pick to the Dallas Stars for the rights to unrestricted free agent defenseman Chris Tanev, which effectively means that ahead of Monday's opening to free agency, the Leafs can exclusively negotiate a deal. It also means they can be somewhat creative with the contract, with signing bonus money and so on. So something to keep an eye on ahead of Canada Day. GM Brad Treliving saying immediately after the draft that a priority is trying to get Tanev signed. With the draft over, we're hearing from more GMs as well. Sabres GM Kevin Adams saying the team has started the process of buying out forward Jeff Skinner and lots of trades. Tampa trading defenseman Mikhail Sergachev to Utah. In return, the Bulls get J.J. Moser, Connor Geekie, a second-round pick in 2025, and a pick in this year's draft, which just wrapped up as well. Tampa also trading Chandler Jeannot to the Kings. LA sending back a second in 2025 and the 118th pick in this year's draft, so perhaps clearing some space for one Steven Stamkos. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Back to the action here at the Rogers Center. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Jake Cousins enters in a pivotal spot in this game for both sides. 3-1 Blue Jays. First and third for Toronto. One out. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the plate. Right on right. Here's the pitch. Just inside. Ball one. Cousins making his 4th appearance of the year and somehow his 3rd against the Blue Jays this year, including pitching in the opener of this series. 1-0. Check swing. Pitch called a strike. It was 1-1. Cousins pitched a scoreless inning and 2/3 2 days ago. Guerrero grounded out to second in his lone at-bat against the righty. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Fooled there by the breaking ball, down and away. It's 1-2. Good day for Guerrero already. A 2-run homer in the first inning, 1 for 2. Set a franchise record by becoming the first player to drive in multiple runs in 6 straight games in Blue Jays history. He's got Bassitt on third and IKF on first. Right-hander Cousins set at the chest. A look at third. Cousins rocks, releases, and Guerrero swings and misses. Strike 3. Again beat by that slider, and that's a big strikeout for the Yankees. Now 2 down.
Yeah, we talked about this with Cousins a couple days ago when he came to the game against Toronto, but that slider is very good. It's an elite slider, and he also has that mid-90s fastball.
It's been a weird year for Cousins. Signed a minor league deal in December with the White Sox. Yankees purchased him a few days into the season and brought him onto the roster. He went down after 2 appearances, hit the injured list for almost 2 months in the minors, healthy and now right back up and pitching in some decent leverage for New York. First pitch to Justin Turner, fouled back, 0-1. 3-1 Blue Jays. Bo is on third. IKF is on first, and there are 2 outs. Justin Turner's 1 for 2 today. He doubled and scored last inning. The 0-1. Check swing. Called strike. 0-2. Bassitt leading off in foul territory. IKF leads off first, held on by Rice. 0-2. Swing and a bouncing ball hit softly to short. Volpe picks it up, goes the short way to second. Close play, but he got him. And that is the 5th inning. The Blue Jays come up with 2 hits, but after first and third, 1 out, they do not score and leave 2 on. Going to the 6th, it's 3-1 Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? You can paint your face. Come wanna meet Ace and run base to base. Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior J's. And with all kinds of cool new games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Hey, this is Trevor Richards. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays are giving away a very Canadian giveaway for Canada Day. Make sure you head to the ballpark early this Monday, and you could be one of the first 15,000 fans and receive the one-of-a-kind Canadian tuxedo hat. Go to BlueJays.com/promotions to purchase your tickets today. Thank you so much for sticking with us on this Saturday afternoon in Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Chris Bassitt on the mound. Just got Gleyber Torres to bounce a ball foul. He's ahead 0-1, and the Blue Jays are up 3-1 in the top of the sixth. 0-1. Fouled off to the right side over the netting into the seats. 0-2.
Ben, have you ever been a Canadian tuxedo guy?
I can do it from time to time. I don't know if I'm allowed to wear it to work, but I would.
Why not?
Well, I
think it looks great.
Feels very casual. No. I got a jean jacket. I'll wear it. I'll wear it.
All right.
Here's the 0-2. Torres reaches out and just pokes it into shallow center for a base hit. I don't think Bassitt would do that pitch over. A sweeper that was off the plate down and away. He's just nodding his head, accepting that Torres somehow filleted into center for a leadoff single.
Well, I don't think he's overly excited about the outcome of that play. That pitch was way off the plate. Actually, a really good two-strike approach from Gleyber Torres, just sticking the bat out and hoping for the best.
So Torres aboard. Here's Austin Wells, who lined out hard and then lined a ball into the right field corner for a double. 1 for 2 today. First pitch, he rips and misses. Bassitt slowed it down on him with a changeup. 0-1. 3-1 Blue Jays, top of the sixth. They left a couple runners on last inning. At first and third, 1 out, didn't score. 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Get the sense, too, that this could be the last inning for Bassitt, who's at 86 pitches. Canadian Zach Pop is getting loose right now for the Blue Jays in left field, as is Brendan Little. 1-1. Swing and a hot shot grounded to first, speared by Turner, but in foul territory. Good reflex from the Blue Jays first baseman, but that one hooked a little too much. It's 1-2.
We have seen Chris Bassitt throw as many as 115 pitches this season. I don't imagine that'll be the case today, but like you said, I'm pretty sure this is probably his last inning.
He is an easy bet for 100. Has gone 104 out of 5 previous starts this month. The 115 you mentioned came all the way back on April 9th against Seattle. 1-2. High. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's facing the number 6 hitter in the order right now in Wells. DJ LeMahieu, the number 7 hitter, is on deck. Bassitt steps on the first base side of the rubber, sets at the bell. Ball tucked in his camo glove, 2-2. Swing and a fly ball, slicing foul into the seats, left field line, out of play.
Chris Bassitt looks like he just gave up 12 runs out there. He always looks like he threw one pitch outside of the strike zone, and he looks like he gave up not even 12 runs, 13 runs maybe, 14 runs.
Not easily satisfied is the veteran righty. Was given up 1 run today, and for now, not an earned run. Quick stoppage. As Wells asked for time granted by DJ Rayburn. Bassitt tossed away the baseball. He'll get a new one. Mentioned Little and Pop loosening for the Blue Jays. On the Yankee side, Phil Bickford is up. 2-2 pitch. Runner takes off from first. Called strike 3. Throw down to second. They got him. A strike him out. Throw him out. Double play. Austin Wells hasn't moved from the plate. He didn't like the call. Looked like a pretty good pitch and an even better throw. Alejandro Kirk has thrown out 2 runners stealing today.
Yeah, Austin Wells didn't like that call, but that was a strike. Chris Bassitt missed his spot, and Alejandro Kirk had to reach across the plate, but that was very clearly in the strike zone. And then Alejandro Kirk throws a strike to Bo Bichette at second base.
And for Chris Bassitt, he's now matched a season high in strikeouts with 8. You got to go back to that 115-pitch effort where he also struck out 8. His first pitch to LeMahieu misses inside, 1-0.
And now that he got those 2 quick outs at 91 pitches, he might come out for the 7th.
You're daring to dream right now. 2 big plays from Kirk, 1-0, called strike. That's one of the better throws, probably both throws today are 2 of the better throws of the year. That was on line to Bichette, no bounce, and right where Bo needed to apply the tag. He barely moved his glove. The wind and the 1-1. Just down and in, 2 balls, 1 strike. (3-1) Blue Jays, 2 outs, bases empty, top of the 6th. 2-1 offering. Bouncing ball hit up the middle, backhanded at second by IKF, throws across his body to first, and that's the inning. A leadoff single for Gleyber Torres, but a strike him out, throw him out, double play, and a ground out means Bassitt faces the minimum in the top of the 6th. 3-1 Toronto. We'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey, it's Andy Richter, here to tell you about the Andy Richter Call-In Show. Each week, I'll be inviting callers to weigh in on important questions like, have you ever seen a ghost? What's the worst job you've ever had? What's the worst date you've ever been on? Along the way, I'll be joined by my favorite comedians and friends. Check out the Andy Richter Call-In Show. New episodes each Wednesday at 4 p.m. East and West, with replays throughout the week on Conan O'Brien Radio. The show will also be available on demand in the SiriusXM app whenever you want. Just search Andy Richter.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
This is Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and host of the SiriusXM original podcast, Black Diamonds. Hear stories about the legends of the Negro Leagues and conversations with the all-time greats they've influenced, like 5-time World Series champion Derek Jeter.
I don't care what race you are. You need to know your past. This is U.S. history. It's not just baseball history.
Hear over 70 episodes of the award-winning Black Diamonds podcast, available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to a very loud Rogers Center, and welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Home half of the 6th inning, the Blue Jays up 3-1 on the New York Yankees. Phil Bickford, the right-hander, into the game for New York. George Springer, Davis Schneider, and Alejandro Kirk will hit this inning against Bickford, the righty who makes his 2nd appearance of the series and his 5th appearance overall this year. He's given up 4 runs, 3 of them earned in 4 1/3 innings. Bickford leans forward and now comes set hunched over. Righty kicks and pitches. Swing and a miss by Springer. Beat him with a fastball, 0-1.
That highlight of Bickford running out of the bullpen prematurely the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was all over the place. I saw that highlight everywhere.
You just don't see that. Here's the 0-1. High, 1-1. If you weren't with us 2 nights ago, Carlos Rodon was having a tough start. He was in the 5th inning, and with 1 out, Aaron Boone was going to lift him with 2 runners on. Here's the 1-1. Springer takes low, 2-1. Rodon had given up 8 runs, 6 of them off the bat of Springer, the current batter. And seeing as he was having a tough day, there were guys on, and he was at 100 pitches. Before the point was made, the bullpen door opened and Bickford was on the field. He almost made it to the infield as Springer rocks the ball left center, and that'll get down in the gap, bouncing toward the wall. Springer around first. He wants second. He's in there with his second double of the day. George Springer cannot be stopped right now. That's his 11th double of the season.
Well, like we talked about in his last at-bat, he has obviously changed his approach at the plate, really using the big part of the field. That was just a fastball right down the middle again. Doesn't try to do too much with it. Keeps that front shoulder in and absolutely drills it into the gap in left center.
He also seems to be a lot more on time with the fastball right now. Hit a couple 95 pluses over the wall in game 1. That one was 94. Dalton Varsho pinch hitting for Davis Schneider. Takes strike 1. Just to wrap up on Bickford, so he's jogging in, and then Carlos Rodon convinces Aaron Boone to leave him in the game. So Bickford has to make a U-turn. He's almost in the infield and turns back, goes to the bullpen. He did come in later. 0-1. Called strike, 0-2.
But the problem with that is somebody opened the door out there.
Yes.
Somebody said, yes, you are in the game. I think it's the bullpen coach's fault.
Could very well be.
But he's not getting any flack. He's not on the highlights.
0-2 pitches high, 1-2. Yeah, I mean, Phil Bickford doesn't make the decision. You would know this better than most. When he runs out, when the door's open, you go. Springer on second, no outs. Varsho at the plate. The 1-2. High and tight. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, I don't think Bickford's calling down to Aaron Boone saying, yep, I'm in the game. I'm coming out of that door.
Or he's not even telling the worker who opens the door, like, hey, open it up.
Yeah, no,
he's just waiting for other people to tell him when to go in. A little smoother for the righty this time. 2-2. Is lined to left field. Down for a hit. Bounces off the glove of Verdugo in left. Varsho with a wide turnaround first. He'll go back to the back. Springer had to wait to see if it would get down. Verdugo got into a slide. So Springer up to third. But the Blue Jays with back-to-back hits have runners on the corners. Nobody out.
Yeah, that was a good play from George Springer. You have to stay close to second base, especially with nobody out. Alex Verdugo kind of clanks off the heel of his glove and trickles about 10 or 15 feet in front of him. George Springer ends up at third base, but that's some good contact from Dalton Varsho.
Springer had actually turned around to face left field, watching Verdugo, who kept in front of him, which was big for the Yankees. Now first and third for the Blue Jays, infield at double play depth. Nobody out. The pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Down and away, ball 1. Blue Jays have missed some opportunities to add on today, but Kirk has actually been one of the guys who's come through. He hit an RBI double with runners on the corners in the 4th. 1-0. Swinging a bouncing ball left side, through into left field, a base hit. Springer home. Varsho slips around second, gets back to the bag. It's another RBI hit for Kirk. It's 4-1 Toronto.
Well, Alejandro Kirk is having an exceptional game. A couple hits, a couple of big hits. 2 big runners thrown out. I know George Springer's having a good game. I know Vlad's having a good game, but Alejandro Kirk is kind of flying under the radar.
He's driven in 2 of the 4 Blue Jay runs and helps Toronto potentially keep a big inning going here. First and second, still nobody out. Here's Ernie Clement. Third baseman LeMahieu in case of a bunt. And Ernie shows bunt early, pulls it back, pitch down and away, 1-0. That was an early enough show that looks like more of a bunt sacrificing for Clement rather than for a base hit. And he didn't set up while Bickford was set like National League pitchers would back in the day, but he got it out there right when Bickford got into the line.
No, that makes me very happy, Ben.
First and third now in for the Yankees. And Bickford's going to kick the leg up, turn around to second. Why does it make you happy?
Because I love the fact that John Schneider is thinking about extending the lead, moving those runners into scoring position. And again, Ernie Clement actually showed bunt there as Bickford was doing the inside move. It looked like he was going to sack bunt again.
Next pitch, Ernie squares and pops it up behind the plate, over the netting and into the seats. 1-1.
I'd try it again. Why not? Only one strike. I would try it again if I'm John Schneider.
Clement has sacrificed twice this year, 7 times in his career. Varsho on second, Kirk on first. Corners in for the Yankees, middle infield at double play depth. With nobody out, the 1-1. Clement swings and lifts the ball to center. Varsho tagging at second. Grisham backing up a bit. Grisham comes in to make the catch. Varsho dekes but does not go. And there's now 1 out.
I love how you phrase that. Why does it make you happy, Chris?
Sometimes I want to know. 4-1 Blue Jays after a run in this inning. Trying to add on more, though. Here is Kevin Kiermaier, who's 0 for 2 today. Left-handed hitter against the righty reliever Bickford. First and second, 1 out. And an inside move over to second. Varsho gets back in. Varsho is tied for the Blue Jays team lead in stolen bases with 8. He's been caught once.
I would imagine that it's not going to be a double steal if Dalton Varsho decides to take third.
Kirk is at first. First pitch to Kiermaier. High ball 1. Kirk has no stolen base attempts in his career, by the way. Here's the 1-0. High and outside, 2-0.
But the interesting thing is, and I know that he probably won't attempt a stolen base here, but he's facing second base. Like most base stealers do, he's watching Dalton Varsho to see what he does, really paying attention.
The 2-0. High ball 3. And again, especially at this point, it's not going to happen with a 3-0 count. But Austin Wells did not get up in front of the plate like many catchers do to give signs for double steals. Maybe it goes unsaid that they would throw through to second on this one, but the Yankees didn't do anything special. 3-0 pitch, Kiermaier taken all the way, hits the top of the zone, 3-1.
But I think the interesting thing, if that were to happen, which it won't, this is all just hypotheticals, there's a left-handed batter up right now, so it's a very clear path for Austin Wells to throw to third base, but I would imagine they would throw to second.
3-1 to Kiermaier is sliced high in the air. Foul, back of third. Verdugo charging in from left. Long run, makes the catch. That was a nice play by Alex Verdugo. Had to snake around the retaining wall. He's used to walls like that from his time in Boston, but still, he makes a good play in foul territory, and now back-to-back outs for Bickford. Here's the top of the order. A lot of guys made long runs as Gleyber Torres returns to second. He was covering third base as no one was there. And now Matt Blake is going to walk out to the mound.
Yeah, it actually was a pretty heads-up play. DJ LeMahieu was way out where Alex Verdugo was. Phil Bickford actually sprinted over to third base as well, along with Gleyber Torres. Dalton Varsho, obviously so smart, probably had that in his head. I wasn't watching what Dalton was doing, but he probably took a couple hard steps, and that's why everybody reacted the way they did.
He was tagging at second because it's a foul ball, so there's no chance of advancing, and had no one covered third, Varsho could have tried to take 90 feet. But yeah, the Yankees realized. They just convened for a moment as Matt Blake came to the mound for a visit, and now that'll break up. And with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, a big chance here for Bo Bichette to add to the Blue Jay lead. Alejandro Kirk with an RBI single this inning. It's 4-1 Toronto. Kirk leading off first. Varsho leading off second. 2 outs. Let's go Blue Jays chance in Toronto. Bickford in the set. And he'll go with a third inside move of the inning toward Varsho. Does not throw. Hasn't thrown on any of them.
I have to admit, I haven't seen a pitcher this season do 3 inside moves in 1 inning.
Really trying to keep Varsho close at second, who likely scores on any single to the outfield. First pitch to Bassitt, outside, 1-0. While it's been an up-and-down season for Bo, A, he's having a good day today. Probably should have 2 hits and has a double his last time up. And B, he's hitting .362 this year with runners in scoring position. 1-0. Down and away, 2 balls, no strikes. And now he's in the driver's seat. Bickford leaning forward. Tucks the ball into his glove, chest high. And the 2-0. High ball 3. Not really close misses on any of these pitches from Phil Bickford. And now he either has to come right at Bo Bichette or deal with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who hits next.
Yeah, now he's really in the driver's seat. If I'm Bo Bichette and I get a good pitch, I'm swinging here.
3-0. Bichette takes fastball right down the middle, so it seems like he was taking all the way.
Well, he definitely was taking all the way. That was about as hittable a fastball as you can get.
I'd be surprised if the Blue Jays gave him a take there, but maybe he was giving himself a take. Not 100% sure. Here's the 3-1. Low ball 4. Bichette will take a walk, and the bases are loaded.
Well, that's a good walk. I mean, obviously right there and during that at-bat, that's a team-first approach. Taking all the way 3-0, he would rather get on base than potentially make good contact with a fastball that was right down the middle. And obviously IKF is swinging the bat so well right now that he's gonna let IKF potentially drive these runs in.
Kiner-Falefa is 2 for 3 today. 2 singles and a run scored. Bases loaded, 2 down. Swings at the first pitch and misses, 0-1. It's another guy with good clutch hitting numbers. .345 average with runners in scoring position. .375 in those situations with 2 outs. Takes the 0-1 fastball on the outside edge. 0-2. Varsho on third, Kirk on second, and Bichette on first. 4-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 6th with 2 outs. Bickford's 0-2 pitch. Swing and a hot shot grounder, left side, into left field, a base hit. Varsho scores. They stop Kirk at third. Station to station for the Blue Jays, who extend their lead to 5-1. 3 hits today for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
Yeah, he's just so good at finding the holes right now, swinging at another good pitch, not trying to do too much right there. And Dalton Varsho comes scurrying home. Alejandro Kirk had to stay at third base.
And that's going to be it for the right-hander Phil Bickford, who's allowed 2 runs already and 4 hits to the Blue Jays in this inning. He gets 2 outs, and now Aaron Boone is going to go into his bullpen once again. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to hit next with the bases loaded, 2 down. 5-1 Blue Jays. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. And before we check the out-of-town scoreboard, another reminder that we do have Jays Talk after this game. Nick Ashbourne is here with me at the Rogers Center. We'll take your calls and texts once this game is officially in the books. 590-590, name and location. That's the People's Text line. As you guys know, it's always open. You can shoot me a text right now if you so desire. All right, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Some NBA news with free agency opening tomorrow as well. Clippers forward Paul George declining his $48.7 million option. Must be nice. And will enter free agency. So he likely becomes a top target on most contenders' boards. Elsewhere, the Euros continuing with the round of 16 today. Italy already out. Switzerland beating the Azzurri 2-0 to start us off earlier today. And right now, Germany leading Denmark 2-0 in the 88th minute of play. The game was delayed thanks to a thunderstorm, but again, Germany up 2-0. Tomorrow, we'll get England, Slovakia, and Spain, Georgia. Monday will bring us France, Belgium, and Portugal, Slovenia. And the last 2 games, that'll be Tuesday, will be Romania, Netherlands, and Austria, Turkey. And at the Copa America tournament, Canada beating Peru 1-0 earlier in the week. It's the first ever goal under new head coach Jesse Marsh. And more importantly, it's the first ever win at Copa America. Thanks to an Argentina win over Chile, it means that Canada can advance to the quarters with a win tonight. A draw could put them through as well, though the goal differential of Peru-Argentina would factor into it. All 4 teams play at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action here at the Rogers Center. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Lefty Caleb Ferguson pitches for the first time in this series. The longtime Dodger in his first season with the Yankees has had a bumpy season so far. This is his 33rd appearance of the year. An earned run average just under 6. And he enters with the tough situation of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming up and the bases loaded. There are 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 5-1 Blue Jays. Ferguson, the lefty, is tougher on left-handed hitters, but comes in to face Guerrero. Southpaw kicks, delivers, and Vlad takes called strike 1. Just grabs the outside zone with a fastball.
A little bit of an interesting move from Aaron Boone, bringing in a left-handed reliever to face Vlad. I don't know if I'd choose that.
Here's the 0-1. Curveball called strike 2. Guerrero this season has hit better off righties than lefties, but good numbers against both. 0-2. Swing and a chopper down the third baseline. It's a fair ball bouncing into the left field corner. Kurt scores. Bichette behind him. He scores. They're giving the wave to IKF, and he'll slide in without a throw. It's a bases clearing double for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 8-1 Blue Jays. Vlad with his 150th career double, and he knocks in 3 more runs. He has 5 RBIs today to help the Blue Jays to a 5-run inning here in the 6th.
Well, when you're hot, you're hot. And Vlad really didn't hit that ball that well, but DJ LeMahieu was playing way off the line, and it just gets inside that third base bag. 3 big RBIs in this game, and another double for Vlad.
Justin Turner takes strike 1. Guerrero on second, 1 out. Or pardon me, 2 outs. All 5 of those runs, by the way, in this inning will go against Phil Bickford. Here's the 0-1. Bounce to the plate. And Chris, so many times the Blue Jays had created chances today, but not gotten the most out of them. They have more than made up for that here in the 6th.
Yeah, when you're going to beat teams like this, you have to take advantage of the opportunities that they give you, and the Blue Jays really didn't do that up until this point. That was a huge hit from Vlad.
Swing and a miss by Turner, and now Ferguson, his former teammate, ahead of him 1-2.
And now the Blue Jays are up 8-1.
Between these two teams, there have been 4 half innings in this series of 5+ runs. You just don't see that all the time. Blue Jays have 2 5-run innings. The Yankees scored 2 of 6 or more yesterday. 1-2 fouled back by Turner. And they are both teams that, frankly, through some injury and inconsistency, have a lot of turnover in the bullpen recently, and perhaps that has contributed as well.
A little bit of luck, too.
For sure.
That last base hit right there had a lot of luck involved.
Just as how it was chopped right down the line. 1-2. Downstairs, 2-2.
It actually wasn't a terrible pitch from Ferguson. Vlad kind of got it in on the hands, but he was just lucky enough. And obviously there's a little bit of skill involved, but he was just lucky enough that DJ LeMahieu was playing off the line, snuck it past the bag. 3 huge RBIs.
2-2 to Turner is popped up right side, slicing toward the stands. Will it get out? It will. No play for the first baseman, Ben Rice, on that ball out of play.
This series has been all over the place.
Blue Jays go up 8-0 in 2 innings in game 1 and win that one 9-2. They lead until the Yankees score 15 runs yesterday from the 6th to the 9th alone and beat Toronto 16-5. This one far from over is an 8-1 game in favor of Toronto, bottom 6. Now Turner will ask for time. You look at Guerrero specifically, who's had a couple of those, he had the broken bat double in game 1, and you wonder if a guy who's had such high expected stats, he's hit the ball hard very consistently, but it hasn't turned into results. Maybe this is some of that baseball evening out now, as some of the balls he's hit weaker have found holes when balls he was hitting harder this year weren't. 2-2. Low ball 3.
And I think the ironic thing is he'll take that every single time.
Sure.
He'll take that bases clearing weakly hit double down the line every single time. He'll give back those line drives that are outs.
Guerrero on second, the 3-2. High ball 4. And the inning continues. 9 Blue Jays have come up to the plate. George Springer will now bat for the second time here in the 6th. He led off this inning with a double.
There's another guy that is incredibly hot right now, seeing the ball really well. Just not trying to do too much. I love that he has that approach now. 2 for 2 today with a walk.
9 for his last 12. Ferguson's pitch. Called strike 1. Caleb Ferguson acquired in a trade by the Yankees in February from the Dodgers. 0-1. Check swing, pitch outside. Former Blue Jay Matt Gage went the other way. The lefty had been pretty reliable for the Dodgers over the last couple of years since they drafted him in the 38th round in 2014, but this has been his toughest season. 1-1. Check swing again, pitch was low, appeal down. Oh no, he did go around. Pardon me, a late signal by DJ Rayburn. It's 1-2. Eight-1 Blue Jays, 2 outs. Guerrero on second, Turner on first. And the 1-2 pitch to George Springer. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on a fastball, and that'll end a very productive 6th for the Blue Jays. They score 5 runs on 5 hits. Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s bases clearing double, the biggest of them all. And it is 8-1 for Toronto going to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
When Blue Jays starter Kevin Gossman is on the mound, you hear a lot of pops at Rogers Center. The pop of the ball hitting the catcher's mitt. The pop of the crowd as they cheer on another Gossman strikeout. But most importantly for Goss, the pop of his bubble gum.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the splitter again. One of the best at his craft.
Gossman loves his gum. So be one of the first 15,000 fans on Wednesday, July 3rd and get your Kevin Gossman bubblegum bobblehead. Get your tickets at BlueJays.com.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Kiermaier going back to the wall. He leaps and he made the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
7th inning in Toronto. The Blue Jays leading the Yankees 8-1 thanks to a 5-run bottom of the 6th. Thanks so much for joining us. Today I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Brendan Little into the game for the Blue Jays. That ends the start of Chris Bassitt. Little takes over in this 7th, facing Oswaldo Cabrera to start, the switch hitter, before Trent Grisham and Anthony Volpe hit as well for the Yankees. 14th appearance of the year for the recently shaven Little, who has a .565 earned run average. First pitch. Inside, ball 1. Dalton Varsho remains in the game out in left field. He pinch hit for Davis Schneider and came up with a single in the Blue Jays' 5-run 6th. 1-0. Called strike. Little gets a bit of a break there on the outside edge. Shiny necklace sparkling off the lights from Oswaldo Cabrera. 1-1 is hit foul into the ground near the third base dugout. The DH Guerrero leaning over the railing. It gets past him and rolls into the Blue Jays dugout. 1-2. Little goes to the back of the mound and grabs the rosin bag, spikes it down. Now set. Southpaw's 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him on a back foot knuckle curve. 1 out.
Well, Brendan Little's got nasty stuff. I think the biggest thing for him is just get ahead with that fastball, that good mid-90s fastball, and then you can kind of expand the zone. But if he's a guy that can get ahead, he'd be a good lefty in this bullpen. I've said that a few times this season. He's got the stuff. I think it's just the mentality that he needs to get.
The Blue Jays will ask for more from Little and Genesis Cabrera now that they've designated Tim Meza for assignment. First pitch left on left to Trent Grisham, called strike 1. With Little in, though, the start is wrapped up by Chris Bassitt. He was great today. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run that was unearned, 2 walks, and a season-high 8 strikeouts, tied his season best with that many Ks. 0-1. Called strike, 0-2.
I mean, it's almost like it keeps getting better for Chris Bassitt, especially in a big game. This is almost a must-win game for this Toronto Blue Jays team. Chris Bassitt goes out and about as good as he could be. He looked incredible out there. That fastball was just located all over the strike zone. So much movement. That elevated cutter, like we talked about, was just so on today. And for Chris Bassitt, it really doesn't get any better than that.
Bassitt leaves in line for the win. By the way, a little bit of stuff going on at the plate after the last pitch. First the 0-2. Grisham takes. It's just low. I believe, and I'm just speculating, that Grisham felt that he was quick pitched on that second pitch. He took all the way on the 0-1 from Little. That was a fastball right over the heart of the plate. There was some barking from first. I think they were upset about it, but there's no such thing as needing to come to a stop with no one on base. There are no balks. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss on a curve in the dirt. Grisham jogs to first. Kirk inside fair territory, throws down to first, and that's back-to-back strikeouts for the lefty reliever.
Yeah, with nobody on base, you can essentially do whatever you want. You can do a cartwheel and make the throw if you want to. I don't know what Trent Grisham was talking about, but he definitely didn't look happy.
I mean, you might not make any friends depending on how you pitch to guys, but in terms of the rules, as he and Aaron Boone were protesting to DJ Rayburn, I'm not exactly sure what Rayburn was supposed to do about it. So 2 outs, both on strikeouts, both on the knuckle curve. And now the pitch to Anthony Volpe, the leadoff hitter for the Yankees today. Chopper back to the mound, fielded on the third base side of the hill by Little. Fires a strike over to first. And that's it for the 7th. A 1-2-3 frame for the lefty. 7th inning stretch at Rogers Center, and OK Blue Jays plays with Toronto up 8-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Jose Berrios, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 7th inning. Blue Jays hosting the Yankees in Game 3 of this 4-game series. Toronto leading 8-1. Caleb Ferguson, the lefty reliever, still on for New York. Misses upstairs to lefty swinger Dalton Varsho. 1 ball and no strikes. Blue Jays have really changed the complexion of this game with a 5-run 6th. They widened their lead, have led since the first. 1-0. Swinging a broken bat bouncer to second. Coming in Torres, transfers throws to first. And Varsho's retired, 1 out. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Let's go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Pittsburgh Pirates are visiting the Atlanta Braves today, and Paul Skeens is matching up with Max Fried. It doesn't get a lot better than that. 2 guys whose earned run averages start with 2, and they've both been very good so far. First throw the pitch to Alejandro Kirk, 8-1 Blue Jays, bottom 7. He swings and fouls it back. 1 out, and now 1 strike on Kirk. Skeens has gone 4, given up 1 run, struck out 5. Fried went 4 scoreless, but in the 5th now, the Pittsburgh Pirates have loaded the bases with 1 out on Max Fried. The 0-1. Check swing, called strike just on the inside edge. 0-2.
And the Pittsburgh Pirates are still hanging in there. 39-42 right now.
It's, the threshold is not super high in terms of third wild card in the American League, and you could say that about a lot of the wild card spots in the National League. Here's the 0-2. Fouled off to the left and bouncing off the front fence of the third base dugout. If you look at the team that's in the third wild card spot in the American League, the Boston Red Sox, they're down 10-0 today to the San Diego Padres. They lost in a lopsided game yesterday to San Diego, and in the bottom of the 5th, it's 10-0 Padres at Fenway. A 6th-run, 5th inning by the Padres. Manny Machado has 2 homers and 5 RBIs today. 0-2 to Kirk. Swing and a miss. Chases the high fastball. Strike 3. Now 2 down.
Well, I think the Blue Jays will take that. Not the strikeout.
Yes.
The Boston score.
Still got probably a lot more time and a couple more wins needed before they're too focused on the wild card, but the Blue Jays in good position right now. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. It's 8-1 Toronto. First pitch to Ernie Clement is lifted to right field. Sprinting back Cabrera, backpedaling onto the track. He's got it, reaches out to his right and makes the catch to end the inning. Our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. We go to the 8th inning with Toronto leading 8-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
SiriusXM Fight Nation is hitting the road with a stop in Las Vegas for International Fight Week. Beginning June 27th at 12 Eastern, SiriusXM Fight Nation will broadcast live from UFC X all week long ahead of UFC 303. Catch MMA Today and more special programming direct from Sin City.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Your home for the best UFC 303 coverage is SiriusXM Fight Nation Channel 156.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
If you love golf, then you should never turn off SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio. Our hosts have the best takes.
Tiger's impact on the game of golf, aside from how good he was at it, was something that I don't think we'll ever see again.
Talk to the biggest guests.
Scotty, you've had a year to celebrate.
This year, I've just seen a lot of good results.
And can even help you with your own game.
Take the club and at address, open it up.
It's all golf, all the time. On SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Blue Jays fans, after this game, get back to what's really important. Your fantasy football team. We're talking about it right now on Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
8-1 Blue Jays lead, top of the 8th inning at Rogers Center. Welcome back to downtown Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Brendan Little still on the mound, the lefty in his second inning of relief work. Kicks and fires to Ben Rice. First pitch called strike one. It's been a good day for the rookie Rice in his 11th Major League game. He's come up with 2 hits, including a double in the third, which serves as his first extra base hit of his Major League career. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Fooled there by a knuckle curve below the knees. 0-2. Little twists and deals. And misses down and away.
I'm wondering if this is going to be Brendan Little's last hitter with Aaron Judge on deck and Zach Pop warming up in that bullpen out there.
It's a good call. Very possible. Pop's been up for a while, too. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a hard hit grounded to first. Stabbed by Turner. He'll race Rice to the bag and beat him there. 1 out. And that was a very good call by you, Chris, as John Schneider steps out of the dugout and walks onto the field. Brendan Little has faced 4, struck out 2 of them, and had 2 ground ball outs as well. And that's going to be the lefty's day. A clap from Schneider. He will take the baseball, and Zach Pop is coming in to take on big Aaron Judge. 8-1 Blue Jays, 1 out, top of the 8th. Let's go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. And before we check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Another reminder that we do have Jays Talk once this game is over. Nick Ashbourne is here with me at the Rogers Center. He and I will take your phone calls and your texts. 590-590, name and location. You can text us right now on the People's text line. You guys know the drill. I'll throw the numbers for you guys to call once this game is over. All right, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard. Again, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. I feel like this is a good time to mention the All-Star voting period in the American League. The finalists have been unveiled if you missed it. So Aaron Judge was the leading vote getter in the American League, so he's officially off to Texas. Everyone else has been entered in a showdown for their respective positions. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Ryan Mountcastle are the 2 finalists for first base in the American League. If you are so inclined, you can vote for Vladdy beginning Sunday, June 30th, which is, of course, tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. If you missed some trades during the NHL draft, which is now officially in the books, lots to get to today. Tampa trading defenseman Mikhail Sergachev to Utah. In return, the Bolts getting J.J. Moser, Connor Geekie, a second-round pick in 2025, and a pick in this year's draft, which they used. Tampa also trading Tanner Jeannot to the Kings. L.A. sending back a second in 2025 and the 118th pick in this year's draft, which they also used. Kyle Dubas making some moves. Kevin Hayes and a second-round pick are off to Pittsburgh. The St. Louis Blues getting back future considerations from the Penguins, since the Blues were reportedly looking to clear up cap space in advance of free agency on Monday. And the Golden Knights, not content to stand pat either. They trade goaltender Logan Thompson to the Capitals for a pair of third-round picks, one this year, which they used, and one in 2025. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Aaron Judge in the batter's box. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Canadian reliever Zach Pop into the game. 1 out, 8-1 Blue Jays. Top of the 8th. Pop from the first base side of the rubber. Kicks and fires. Swing and a line drive. Right field. Hanging up. Caught by Springer. Judge is retired for the first time today. He goes to 2 for 3 with an intentional walk. And there are 2 down.
And just like Zach Pop drew it up. Fastball down the middle, an absolute laser from Aaron Judge. And Zach Pop will take it.
It's the 4th time that he's faced Judge now. He's got him out 3 times, and once he walked him. So not bad for Pop against Judge. Here's Alex Verdugo now with 2 outs. The pitch. Down and in, ball 1. Infield playing pretty straight up, maybe just a step to the pull against the lefty hitter, Alex Verdugo. 1-0. Inside 2-0. Most exaggerated shift comes from Ernie Clement, who's well off the line at third. Bo Bichette, I wouldn't say is up the middle, but is toward there. Justin Turner plays deep at first, as does Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at second. 2-0. Bounce behind the plate, foul, 2-1. Verdugo right now 2 for 11 in the series. 2-1. High and outside, 3-1. And has just had a tough go since that big series he had in Boston. Really that big series opener that he had against the Red Sox. He had 3 hits, including a home run, 4 RBIs at Fenway Park. 3-1. Swing and a pop-up, back of third. Clement spreading out his arms in left, called off by the left fielder Varsho, who comes in and makes the play to end the inning. Zach Pop enters and gets 2 outs of Judge and Verdugo to do his job and sends us to the bottom of the 8th, where it's still 8-1 Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2 men in a truck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2 men in a truck, 2 men in a truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 men in a truck, 2 men in a truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
George Springer has given the Blue Jays the lead once again.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Welcome back to Rogers Center. Bottom of the 8th inning in Toronto, and the Blue Jays leading 8-1. Needing some work after not pitching for an extended stretch, the closer, Clay Holmes, is into the game for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Kevin Kiermaier leading off for the Blue Jays. The tall righty Holmes kicks and fires, and the first pitch is fouled back. 0-1. Holmes last pitched on Sunday, so it has been a while. The Yankees have gone through a tough stretch here, 3-9 in their last 12. Next offering, cut and a miss by Kiermaier. 0-2.
Well, overall, Clay Holmes has been pretty good this season, but over his last 15 games, he's given up 20 hits and 9 earned runs.
0-2. In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Holmes, acquired by the Yankees in 2021, has been the closer really since 2022. 1-2. Bounce foul by Kiermaier, and he relies on that hard sinker. 96 miles an hour on average, throws it most of the time, and will throw a slider and a sweeper as well. One-two pitch. Bounced just in fair territory, first base side, and picked up by Wells near the plate. He throws to first, 1 out.
And I bring up Clay Holmes' name a lot when I'm talking about Zach Pop. They have very similar movement on their fastball. Clay Holmes has a little bit more downward action on that fastball. Zach Pop has slightly more horizontal movement. But they both are the rare guys that have just natural movement, and that mid to upper 90s fastball, both of them are just so nasty.
And Holmes was a guy who early in his career with Pittsburgh did not get great results, and almost right on cue after being traded to the Yankees has been one of the most dominant relievers in baseball. First pitch to Bassitt is low, 1-0.
Well, it happened with Garrett Cole, happened with Clay Holmes. Who else? Charlie Morton.
Are you saying guys that left the Pirates?
Left the Pirates and became studs, yeah.
Joe Musgrove, Tyler Glasnow. 1-0. Hit foul off to the right, 1-1.
Yeah, Tyler Glasnow's for sure one.
We'll leave it there. Pirates having a pretty nice year. Speaking of relievers, over in left field, Jose Cuas is warming up. Looks like he will make his Blue Jays debut in the 9th. 8-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 8th. 1 out, and the 1-1 to Bassitt. Swing and a miss. Huge hack on a fastball left over the heart of the plate, but 97, big movement again from Holmes. 1-2 is the count.
And again, when you're expecting that sinker or even the slider from Clay Holmes, it's really hard to adjust to that fastball that doesn't really move much.
1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Throws him the sweeper away, gets Bassitt to swing and miss, and there are 2 down. Holmes really giving the Blue Jays the preview of why they don't want to have him up in a game that matters, because he very rarely blows save opportunities. 2 quick outs for the right-hander, now facing his former teammate Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who's 3 for 4 today. First pitch, called strike. IKF with 3 singles, including an RBI knock in the 6th. That's when the Blue Jays scored 5 and really changed this game. 8-1 Toronto as the next pitch misses down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. As it sits, both Kiner-Falefa and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. tied for the team lead in batting average, both hitting .294. Next pitch is roped on the ground down the left field line and rolling into the corner. Kiner-Falefa around first. He'll jog into second. It's a 4-hit day for IKF, who just notched his 8th double of the season.
Oh boy, he's seeing the ball really well right now. That's what happens with Clay Holmes when he leaves that sinker up and it starts up and then kind of runs back over the middle of the plate. And that one right there on the inner third, and IKF does such a good job getting the barrel through and drilling it down the line past DJ LeMahieu.
Mentioned he was tied with Vlad for the batting average lead. Now he puts the ball in Vlad's court. IKF up to 296. And Guerrero, who has 2 hits today and 5 RBIs, comes up with Kiner Falefa on second. A look back from Holmes, the pitch. Called strike 1. Guerrero with the 2 most impactful hits of the day. A 2-run homer in the first and a 3-run double in the 6th. The 0-1. Swing and a bouncing ball, left side, dive, and it's through into left field, a base hit under the glove of LeMahieu. Kiner Falefa turns around third. He slides in safe. Guerrero takes off for second. Throw down. He slides in safe. It's 9-1 Blue Jays. 6 RBIs for Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
What's Vlad's average now? Quick math. Come on, quick math.
296.
Oh, there you go.
I'm guessing, to be honest. I'm not sure. But Guerrero with a 3rd hit today, and the Blue Jays are now up to 9 runs on 14 hits in the game. Justin Turner was scheduled to hit next, but Spencer Horwitz will bat in his spot. Vlad is at 296, by the way, so they're tied again. Horwitz not qualified, but hitting .340. Runner on second, Guerrero. Holmes' pitch. Check swing. Called strike 1. Turner's day ends 1 for 3. A double, a run scored, and a walk. He's now had a hit and a walk in 6 straight games, has Justin Turner. 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
If Spencer Horwitz gets a hit here, I'll quickly ask you what his average goes up to.
Got to make sure I have the numbers. He's 17 for 50.
All right, let's go.
0-2. Line foul off to the left.
You're not allowed to do the math pre-base hit. Stop thinking over there.
Just thinking about the game. Blue Jays up 9-1. Oh-2. Called strike 3. Really good slider at the top of the zone. Freezes Horwitz, and he strikes out to end the inning. But the Blue Jays add on another. Kiner Falefa double. Vladdy RBI single, and Toronto is up 9-1 going to the 9th. Jose Cuas makes his Blue Jays debut, and the Blue Jays trying to wrap up a 2nd win in this series on the other side. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The beats that move the culture. SiriusXM celebrates Black Music Month with Black Music Forever, a limited edition channel with hip-hop, R&B hits, and breaking music from Black artists. Black Music Forever, throughout the month in the SiriusXM app. SiriusXM.com/BMM for more info.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Hi, I'm Ozzie Smith, and my road to Cooperstown was paved in yellow gold.
This is John Paul Morosi. Coming up on the next episode of the new SiriusXM podcast, The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith.
When you're a small guy, you got to prove your worth over and over again because you're always hearing that negative, even after you accomplish.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the all-new SiriusXM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Top of the 9th inning, Blue Jays in Rogers Center, and they are up right now 9-1 on the New York Yankees. Thanks so much for sticking around. New Blue Jay on the mound, Jose Cuas, the 30-year-old right-hander from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, makes his first Toronto appearance of his career. Righty deals to Gleyber Torres and misses outside 1-0. For Cuas, it's his 10th appearance of the season, pitched 9 times with the Cubs this year. 1-0. Swing and a line drive, looping down the right field line. Fair ball as it just sneaks inside the chalk. Torres rounds first, but Springer picks it up and gets it back in quickly. So it's a leadoff single for Gleyber Torres.
Did that ball bounce and hit the netting over there? Should that not be
I don't think so.
Double?
I think if it hit the netting, it would have been.
Yeah.
It definitely, if it hits the netting, it should be a ground rule double because that would be out of play. I think it hit the retaining wall, and Springer hit the netting, I think, and that's why the netting was shaking. Here's Austin Wells up now. Runner on first, nobody out. The righty Cuas sidearms it in. Strike one. Cuas this year had a 7.43 ERA with the Cubs in 13 1/3, but last year was acquired from Kansas City to the Cubs mid-season and ended up pitching very well for Chicago. In 27 appearances, had an ERA just above 3. His next pitch is on the outside edge, 0-2. Blue Jays picked him up on June 23rd. Now pitching in Toronto for the first time. His 0-2. Fouled back. So tall, slender righty. Cuas is 6'3", 195 pounds. Just turned 30 yesterday. The 0-2. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's a pretty good birthday gift. Welcome to the show.
Oh, yeah. 4-pitch mix for the righty. His 1-2. Swing and a fly ball right field. Springer going back at the wall, looking up. That ball is gone. Home run Austin Wells, and the Yankees have 2 here in the ninth. It's 9-3 Toronto.
Well, that was just a slider from Cuas right over the middle of the plate, and Austin Wells didn't miss it. Drills that thing over the fence in right field, right beside that Yankees bullpen.
3rd home run of the season for Wells.
They were actually trying to come inside with it, but Cuas just leaves it right over the middle.
So now the righty will try and bounce back, dangling his right arm beside him. 9-3 Blue Jays, top of the ninth. With no outs, first pitch fouled back by LeMahieu, 0-1. That was the breaking ball that was hit out for Cuas. He's got a sinker and a 4-seamer, a changeup as well. 0-1. Inside. One pitch, swinging bunt, third base side, fielded by the pitcher. Cuas throws over to first, and that's well in time for the first out of the ninth.
I actually like the fact that Jose Cuas has a different angle to his pitches. He has that very low 3/4 arm slot. It's just a different look, and I like the fact that out of the 8 guys in that bullpen, there's 1 righty that has that lower 3/4 arm slot. You can, I don't know, throw him against lefties, throw him against righties. It's just a tough angle.
Blue Jays have not had any sort of sidearm angle this year. They had Adam Cimber early last year before he ended up on the injured list. Cimber was a big part of Toronto's run in 2022. 1 out. Here's the switch hitter Oswaldo Cabrera. Takes the first pitch high and outside, 1-0. Cuas was a guy who was in independent ball in 2019. Was working for FedEx at one point in 2020. 2-0 pitch misses, or pardon me, 1-0 pitch misses 2-0. Made it back into affiliated baseball in the Royals system in 2021 after starting that year with the Long Island Ducks in the Atlantic League. Next pitch hit off the end of the bat into the seats. 2-1. And then made his major league debut in 2022 with Kansas City.
Pretty cool story.
Yeah, a guy who has fought through a lot. Was an affiliated ball in 18 and 19 before falling out of it in Milwaukee and Arizona's systems. 2-1 pitch, just outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. .3-1 pitch is hit high but very shallow to right center. Second baseman IKF out there makes the catch, and there are 2 down.
As soon as Oswaldo Cabrera popped that baseball up, he started screaming at himself. He knows he missed that fastball. That was a fastball right down the middle.
Blue Jays will take it for sure. So will Quas, who after the single and the homer has bounced back to get 2 outs. And now is just 1 away from locking up a Blue Jays win. 9-3 Toronto, top of the 9th. Righty's pitch. Called strike 1. Although Quas was born in the Dominican Republic, he went to high school in Brooklyn. Blue Jays actually drafted him in the 40th round out of high school in 2012. Didn't sign and was drafted by the Brewers 3 years later out of the University of Maryland. 0-1. Called strike 2. Quas ahead of Trent Grisham now. No balls and 2 strikes. Grisham will ask for time. Big swings by Guerrero in the 1st and the 6th. 6 RBIs for Vlad today. A 5-run 6th inning was the key for the Blue Jays. They're up 9-3 with 2 outs. 2 strikes on Grisham. Toronto ensures at a minimum a series split if they win this game. The 0-2. Just high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kirk liked the spot. He nods his head as he made the catch. 37,448 on their feet again. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Another big offensive performance for the Blue Jays, spearheaded by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. A great game for Alejandro Kirk as well. And Toronto wins today 9-3.
Well, I know we talk a lot about Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, the 2-3 hitters in that Yankees lineup, but how about Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was 4 for 5. Vlad was 3 for 6. 7 RBIs between the 2 of them. Are they the new 1-2 punch?
They could be for the Blue Jays. It's worked out so far, and Toronto has now scored 5 or more runs in 6 straight games. They have ensured at a minimum a series split here with the Yankees in this 4-game set and have given themselves a chance to win the series tomorrow. We're not done talking about this one, though. We are going to take a quick break and wrap it up on the other side before getting you over to a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk. Don't go anywhere. 9-3, the Blue Jays beat the Yankees. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A drive to deep center field. Trout at the wall and watches it sail.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Blue Jays take down the Yankees today 9-3, a dominant win to ensure at least a series split in this 4-game series. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. The Blue Jays had a lot of things go right today, but Chris, let's start with the man on the mound. 3 batters into this game, a 102-mile-per-hour line drive is hit off the right arm of Chris Bassitt by Aaron Judge. We saw the swelling in his arm, yet Bassitt seemed unfazed. He went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, 1 run that was unearned, 2 walks, and tied a season high with 8 strikeouts.
Yeah, that was pretty scary early on in this ball game. Not only for us, because we want the Blue Jays to win this ball game, but for Chris Bassitt, we have no idea the extent of that injury, and he ends up going 6 innings, 0 earned runs, only 2 walks, but striking out 8. That fastball, that sinker today, it was the sinker-cutter, elevated cutter combo that was just unhittable today, and I said this early on, but I think this might be his most complete ball game of the season.
Bassitt picks up his 7th win of the year to go to 7-6. On the other side, the Blue Jays get a little bit to Nestor Cortez, who goes 4 1/3, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks. He picks up the loss today to go 4-7. But it's a big swing in the first and then a big 6th inning spearheaded by Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s 3-run double. Vlad ends up driving in a ton of runs for the Blue Jays, and Guerrero came up with the bases loaded. Toronto had already knocked in a few, but then he delivered today's play of the game. 0-2. Swing and a chopper down the third baseline. It's a fair ball bouncing into the left field corner. Kirk scores. Bichette behind him. He scores. They're giving the wave to IKF, and he'll slide in without a throw. It's a bases clearing double for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 8-1 Blue Jays.
Well, he certainly didn't get all of it. It was a cutter from Caleb Ferguson right in on the hands, but he got just enough of it to sneak it down the line, down that third base line, and score 3 big runs, kind of put this game out of reach. But again, 6 runs batted in for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Another home run. Whether it's luck or whether it's skill, he's getting the job done.
Guerrero ends up with 3 hits on the day, 4 for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who drives in a run. Alejandro Kirk has 2 hits, including a double. He drives in 2 and throws out 2 runners, stealing as well. The Blue Jays get a scoreless 2 innings combined from Brendan Little and Zach Pop before Jose Cuas makes his Blue Jays debut. Did give up a homer in the 9th, but the Blue Jays still won very comfortably 9-3 over the Yankees. The Yankees scored 3 on 8 hits, no errors, 6 left. The Blue Jays with 9 runs on 14 hits, 1 error, and 7 left. Again, the win for Bassitt, the loss for Cortez. 2 hours and 51 minutes this one took in front of a crowd of about 37,500 at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays win their 38-44. The Yankees are 53-32 now with the loss, and Toronto can beat New York in a 4-game set tomorrow if they can pick up that last win. Kevin Gausman will get the start against Garrett Cole. First pitch at 1:37 Eastern, with a local pregame show starting at 1 Eastern, and Blue Jays talk across the country following that game. For our technical directors today, Tom Young and Michael Jose Collins, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Show Ali, our host, and my partner, Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman, saying thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day, and hope to see you tomorrow. But don't go anywhere yet. It's time for your calls and texts. Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali and Nick Ashbourne starts right now.
Well, Nick, I had said to you earlier today that this stretch of games was going to be a make-or-break stretch, right? An 8-game homestand, a divisional opponent here at the Rogers Center. The team right ahead of you in the standings of the Astros coming to town on Monday for 4 games Canada Day. Always a big event down here in the city. And look, I don't know what the season holds when it comes to teardowns or being buyers, and things might largely depend on what happens between now and obviously the trade deadline, which is in about a month. But 2 things come to mind for me today. So one, certainly the offense is starting to really come around, which honestly seemed like unfathomable for most of the season. So that we are actually seeing them put better swings on the ball and more extra base hits and more home runs and just more fireworks, period, is always a good thing. And 2, no matter where the Jays are at in their competitive cycle, it is always fun to watch them beat the Yankees at home. Like, it's so much fun. And today, it was a 9-3 Blue Jays win to guarantee a series split.
Yeah, fun is the operative word there, right? I think part of the problem that fans have had with this team all year long, yes, losing is a problem. Yes, falling short of expectations is a problem. But this is an entertainment product, and for much of the year, they have not been particularly entertaining. That's a reality. And so now you're looking at 6 straight games with 5 or more runs scored. They're 3-3 in those games. It's not like they're on a run necessarily, but they are showing the fans something. 9 runs in 3 of the last 4 games. That is a massive departure from what they were showing earlier in the season.
That is Nick Ashbourne. I'm Show Ali, and you're listening to Jays Talk live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. You can give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line is always open. You know, it's kind of hard not to start with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. after a game like he had today. A 2-run bomb off Nestor Cortes Jr. in the bottom of the first inning, so before we get to the rest of what he did today, that gave him 6 home runs in his last 8 games, and that alone, and he had, 6 RBI today? So multiple RBI in 6 consecutive games, which is actually a Blue Jays franchise record. So previously it was over multiple RBI in 5 consecutive games was held by Eric Hinsky and Frank Catalanato. And then, of course, after that, he clears the bases, a 3-run double right down the line. And then an RBI single of all people, Clay Holmes, in the 8th inning. Holmes was just in there to get some work because he hadn't pitched in ages. But, boy, 19 RBI for Vladdy in his past 6 games. He is absolutely on one right now. And Sportsnet Stats, our crew, led by Steve Fellon, Nick, tweeted this out after the the single, in the bottom of the 8th inning. So most RBI in a 6-game span in the history of the Blue Jays. Okay, Edwin Encarnacion had 20 in August of 2015. Vladdy right now, June of 2024, and the last person to do was Vladdy from July to August of 2019, also with 19. That is incredible.
Absolutely. And in this game, he showed you different things in those different at-bats. And the home run you mentioned, that's a ball to the right center power alley. Like, that's a part of the park where he hasn't necessarily found power all season long. Then there's the pitch that he absolutely golfs, barely off the ground, very much in the Vlad Sr. mold. And then he gets a hit off a truly elite pitcher in Clay Holmes. So throughout this game, we knew he was on a heater coming into this game, but here at Rogers Center, he really put on a show.
I almost feel like we have seen Vladdy, and this is by no means an original thought, because I know a lot of people say this on social media, but I almost feel like Vladdy, we have seen him hit so many balls so hard over the years, not just this year, but just over his entire Blue Jays career, which is not like that long, I suppose, but just right at guys, like absolutely punishing baseballs into like a guy whose back is to the outfield wall, or a guy who is standing at short or at third and just blistering it right into the guy's glove. So it's kind of funny that the game that really kind of turned things here, or the play that really turned things in this game, was that bases clearing double, bases loaded, and just got a little chopper right up the line. Just to the, left, I suppose, or right. I guess he was facing the other way, but right of DJ LeMahieu, just up the line to clear the bases. It's so funny that we've seen so many of the complete opposite kinds of hits where he's just annihilating baseballs, and to see him kind of blow the game open on a hit like that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think he single-handedly has turned Blue Jays fans against the concept of exit velocity because people keep saying these readings like, 110, 115, but he blasts it right at a shortstop or something like that, as you mentioned. Lady Luck has been on his side a little bit, but you can't fake all those home runs he's been hitting, and they, generally speaking, have not been wall scrapers either. So, yes, absolutely some good fortune in this game, but he is justifiably on a hot streak, and again, getting behind some of the home runs he's hit over this stretch, that's all skill.
The bases clearing double was Vladdy's 150th career double. It was also his 800th career hit. So I guess the single off of Holmes was his 801st career hit. But he is the 8th fastest player in the history of the Blue Jays to reach that 800 hit milestone, doing so in 742 career games. So lots of milestones for Vladdy today, which is pretty cool. I want to get to a couple other guys before we get to the phones. And I'll let you pick, actually. You want to talk about IKF or you want to talk about Kirk?
I'd like to go Alejandro Kirk here because there have not been a lot of opportunities to talk about Alejandro Kirk in positive terms. Kirk brought 4 hits in June into this game in 39 trips to the plate. He got a couple here. They were both critical. And he also threw out multiple runners, and that had been a big weakness in his game coming into the season. Below 20% throwing out base runners, and the average in the league is generally kind of low 20s. He's over 30% now this season. I don't think he's suddenly developed a gun. I don't think he's suddenly found new mechanics that make him throw faster. If you look up his pop times, it's pretty similar to what he's done in the past, but the accuracy has been much better. You saw that especially on the second one. He's throwing the ball exactly where it needs to be for the infielder to make these tags, and this is an area of his game that has gone from weakness. I don't know if we're going all the way to strength, but he's really shored it up.
The throw to gun down Ben Rice at third base, and then it was called safe initially, and then they reviewed it and it was out. Rice's cleat. There must have been like a speck of daylight between his cleat and the bag. That was crazy. But that they had the wherewithal to actually challenge that and get it, because I feel like we've seen like more obvious plays be challenged and have them not get overturned. So that was overturned. There must have been some angle we didn't see that really definitively showed. But phenomenal pop and throw from Kirk to get him. And then on the strike him out, throw him out, where he throws the runner out at second, I was very impressed because, like you said, that's not something we talk a lot about with Kirk. Maybe over the course of his whole career. I mean, I think he's been pretty good defensive framing and framing up pitches and so on. And that's something we've gotten used to. But holding runners, throwing out runners has never, I feel like, been something we've talked about a whole hell of a lot with Kirk. And then on top of that, you had 2 RBI on a double and a single. I got to say, I was very impressed with Kirk. And yeah, I mean, he's like never going to be a terror on the base paths. But I mean, I just feel like with Kirk, I think the reason I wanted to highlight him is because he has gotten a lot of criticism. I think some of it fair for sure. But, if like Danny Jansen leaves in free agency or if he gets traded, for example, like pretty much the only catcher you have in the system is Kirk, right? So for better or for worse, like he's going to be on this team. So it is nice that, a guy who was an all-star catcher not that long ago, the starting all-star catcher for the American League a couple of seasons ago, it's pretty crazy that we are where we are now. But I got to say I was very impressed by what we all saw from Kirk today because we haven't seen that too often.
Yeah, he's someone who's going to be on the team, as you mentioned, a little bit longer term than some of these other guys potentially. And as frustrating as he's been to watch at the plate, and he absolutely has been, like he has not generated any power whatsoever. He's declined in various ways at the plate. And this was just one game, and it wasn't even some massive game.
Right.
So I don't want to say that, at the plate he's back. He's not doing what Vladdy's doing or anything like that. But he's a guy who's one of the best framers in the league. He's one of the best pitch blockers in the league as well. Now his throwing is coming around. You have the tools in place for him to be a very, very strong defensive catcher. And sometimes that's not the most beautiful thing to watch, a defensive catcher who doesn't have a lot of power, but that is a valuable player. And I think it's likely that he's going to hit better in the second half of the season than he did in the first.
I also wanted to get to IKF with you because you and I are IKF experts at this point, you and I together. So 13-game hit streak, 4 hits for IKF today, including the third of which I believe drove home the 5th run of the game. He is now actually 7 for 11 in this series against his former ball club, and now has a 770 OPS on the season. He has been phenomenal. Like, we were talking about this in the pregame, about the idea of him, like, well outpacing the contract in terms of, like, value metrics on Fangraphs and so on, which I actually have not really paid a lot of attention to before. So that you said that to me in the pregame is absolutely incredible. But he has been, again, it's just, with IKF, you never get an AB, certainly this season, that you feel like you were left wanting more. Like, yeah, I mean, people swing at junk sometimes, but for the most part, it's a pretty consistent, mature experience whenever he's at the plate, and that's like it just on offense. We already kind of knew what he was going to give you on defense, right? Like, I think the work defensively has largely been exactly what you expected, but again, when it comes to exceeding expectations, he has completely blown me away with what he's given you offensively.
Yeah, he does such a great job of spraying the ball around the park and putting it in play, and that can be a cliche, and some players, that description fits, but they can't make anything happen with those balls in play. Like, you think of Kirk for a lot of this year.
Sure,
it's not like he's striking out all the time, but he's just not making anything out of the balls in play. You know, Ernie Clement is another example of a guy who barely ever strikes out, but his balls in play aren't that impactful. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, his balls in play are not immensely powerful. He's not going gap to gap all the time. He's not clearing the wall, although, as we talked about in the pregame show, he's well on his way to a career high in that regard. He is making those balls in play count. They're not dribblers. They're not rated guys. They're not pop-ups. He's hitting it through the infield. He's hitting line drives. He's not setting records for exit velocity. But today, according to StatCast, he had 4 hard-hit balls of 95 miles per hour or more. Like, again, he's not Vladdy, but that is significant. He's hitting the ball with authority, even if this isn't massive extra base power.
You like him at top of the order?
I think 2 is a bit of a stretch. 2 is where you generally want to put your very best hitter. Like, that's, as Blue Jays fans might recall, that's where Josh Donaldson was for this team for quite some time. Yeah. I think the best version of Blue Jays has, Vladdy rolling from that spot, or Bo, if he's doing well, coming in and hitting well in that spot. But realistically, they're scrapping for every game here. They're trying to stay in the race, and so he may not be their best hitter. He isn't their best hitter from a talent perspective. But in terms of production, right now, he is one of the guys they trust the most. So it's understandable he's there, even if that's not somewhere I would put him longer term.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. 590-590, name and location. We'll go back to the text line, or go to the text line. The People's text line, always open, in a sec. Joining us here on the phones, Brendan in Alberta. Calling in. Brent.
Internet 841, Pirates on Internet 861. 4:10 p.m., Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Oakland A's. Diamondbacks on Sirius XM channels 89, Internet 840, A's on Internet 859. 4:10 p.m., Kansas City Royals take on the Cleveland Guardians. Royals on Sirius 137, XM 181, and Internet 851, Guardians on Internet 847. 4:10 p.m., New York Mets face the Houston Astros. Mets on Sirius 139, XM 183, and Internet 857. Astros on Internet 850. 4:10 p.m., Tampa Bay Rays face the Washington Nationals. Rays on Sirius 160, XM 184, and Internet 866. Nationals on Internet 869. 4:10 p.m., Milwaukee Brewers take on the Chicago Cubs. Brewers on Sirius 138, XM 182, and Internet 855. Cubs on Internet 844. 7:15 p.m., San Francisco Giants face the LA Dodgers. Giants on Sirius 161, XM 185, and Internet 863. Dodgers on Internet 853. Spanish feed on Internet 871. 7:15 p.m., Baltimore Orioles taking the Texas Rangers. Orioles on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 842. Rangers on Internet 867. National feed on Sirius 162, XM 186, and Internet 963. Spanish feed on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 870. 10:07 p.m., LA Angels take on the Detroit Tigers. Angels on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 852. Tigers on Internet 849. 10:10 p.m., Seattle Mariners take on the Minnesota Twins. Mariners on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 864. Twins on Internet 856. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Saturday, June the 29th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 2:10 p.m., Chicago White Sox face the Colorado Rockies. White Sox on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 845. Rockies on Internet 848. 2:15 p.m., St. Louis Cardinals take on the Cincinnati Reds. Cardinals on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 865. Reds on Internet 846. 3:07 p.m. Toronto Blue Jays take on the New York Yankees. Blue Jays on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 868. Yankees on Internet 858. 4:05 p.m. Philadelphia Phillies take on the